The Area Cup Series playoffs continue, this time from Fontana, California at Auto Club Speedway. The 2-mile D-shaped oval that is going to be a blast to watch tonight. 104 laps around this racetrack. The round of 8. We've eliminated 4 of our 12 competitors, and now we head off into this round with just 8 drivers remaining in the battle for the championship. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian Dakota, Hunter Sleppy, and Eric Wineland. Finian tonight, 104 laps around here, and it's going to be 5 wide from the bottom to the top of the racetrack. Multiple grooves, multiple lines. Should be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely. Can't wait to see these guys get out there on track, coming into a new round of the playoffs, as you mentioned, from 12 down to 8. And now these drivers with a slight reset in the points, everyone's somewhat even now, and then these guys that now are on the back foot, thinking they were clear, they got to get themselves now into the round of 4. And it doesn't start next week, it starts this week.
Well, unless your name's Jake Nichols, in which you have a massive points gap over everyone else. But yes, for everyone else, it starts here. It doesn't start next week. Going to be a fun one tonight. Heard that the driver chatter, that the setup isn't too loose, isn't too tight. It's right in the middle, so it should be a perfectly balanced race car for the next 105 laps we got here tonight.
Don't let that deceive you, Hunter. This track has so many lanes that these guys going across those seams tonight are going to have a fun time trying to hang on to that car, because man, does this thing break loose here at Auto Club as you transition across the seams. Kyle, I am absolutely looking forward to tonight and ready to bring you the action from the road.
So excited. Thanks for joining us, Eric. And there's a look at your timing tower here in practice. The drivers in the blue on the timing and scoring, those are your playoff competitors. There are only 8 of them remaining. Hunter already mentioned the number 91 of Jake Nichols running a new and different Solar Flare Racing livery tonight, Finian. But Orion Hartz is the quickest man on the tower right now, and he just came up short last week, and he is so close to victory. Is tonight the night?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's definitely way overdue. He's been pursuing that 91 all season long, and I would argue now's no time better than any to get that win. I mean, the thing with Ryan Hart, he's one of the fastest cars out there. He's unfortunately just never been able to quite seal the deal, but we'll see if that can change here.
You can see in the points, too, it would be huge because really everyone other than Jake Nichols is in a situation where they need to have a good points night, because we only get 2 races here. One from 12 to 8 drivers. Ryan Hart's +3 to the good. Travis Beckner, Area 500 winner, +4. And then got a tie between Ricky Springer and David Weishart. Those 2 wins in the postseason coming up clutch for Ricky Springer. Now he's in that tiebreaker with Weishart. DeLeo -3, Kern -7. I mean, Gabriel Ellison's going to have a really solid night here, looking at -13 below the cutoff line. We haven't even started the round of 8 yet.
So it's going to be an interesting battle to watch in the driver points. How about a look at the team points real quick? Solar Flare Racing stacking up those victories, Finian, but keep an eye on Jacob Bell Racing. They're doing really well, but still have Miller Racing just about 11 points behind them. Fazekas Motorsports, David Weishart Racing, only 5 points between them, and then just 20 back to Lucky Duck. So there's still some team battles going on as we enter round 3 of 5 in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that Solar Flare Racing is starting to run out of room for their winner stickers here. If Jake gets any more by the end of the season, you can tell, too, he's been carrying the weight for that team with all 8 of those stickers belonging to him.
See if we get any changes from 2nd through 7th. 107 points separating the teams from Jacob Bell Racing, Miller Racing, Fazekas, DWR, Lucky Duck, and IRLC. It's going to be interesting seeing how the team standings shake up towards the end of the season.
So practice is underway here. 104 laps around here, Eric. Tell me a little bit about the strategy tonight. We're going to see some tire wear. I'm sure this track is abrasive. It's bumpy. So over the course of this race, we'll probably see a handful of pit stops. What are we looking at in terms of our strategy this evening?
Probably looking forward to a 2-stop here, Kyle. They can't quite go, 52.5 laps on a tank of gas. Just not possible here at the 2-mile oval with these 20-gallon tanks. But as you said, tires are going to fall off. Now, here's the interesting bit. I got the chance to talk to Solar Flare pre-race here, and Jake Nichols' brother, TK, gave me some info that he said he was having more success on the top, so you guys are going to see this thing really widen out. But he was having a little more wear on the top, so even though it may be faster up there to roll the momentum and get the run, it may wear those tires out. He said he was seeing something really weird with the temperatures too up top, that his tires were cooler, but he was the only one that had that compared to his teammates. On top of that, guys, Jake Nichols told me he, for some reason, was wearing his left rear more than his right rear with this setup at Auto Club. So going to be interesting to see what that means for these guys tonight once they go full bore here, 105 laps.
It's an abrasive racetrack, and it's going to be a little bit warm out there, perhaps, although the track temperature is falling as the air temp falls here. Relatively cool day at Auto Club Speedway, and we should be in for a really nice late afternoon race here today. The other thing that I want to mention, Finney, as we look down the timing and scoring, there's a lot less blue than there was last week. A third of our playoff competitors eliminated, and that means that things are a lot more sensitive as far as points go. You don't have the buffer of having all those other playoff competitors that could have bad days. It's about time to start making sure your performances are very consistent, and for a guy like Gabriel Allison, who's only gotten a couple laps here in practice, he's 33rd in the standings. That's not going to do it here in race trim, but practice shouldn't be a huge deal.
No, it shouldn't, and you got to hope that that is just him, getting up to speed, getting the tires warmed up. He's only been out there. This is his 4th lap. Just joined in late right before practice. I hope for his sake that he got a bit more practice earlier in the week leading up to tonight, because you're definitely going to need it. But like you mentioned, you can't have a lackluster performance here with only 2 rounds before we eliminate another 4 drivers. And even guys currently sitting 12th place like Michael Curran and in 10th place Dominic DeLeo, they're also looking a little bit on the outside despite being in the top 15.
Yeah, and looking back at it a season ago, the highest playoff driver at Auto Club was David Weishart. He had a 5th place finish, but he didn't get a good qualifying run either. He came from all the way in the back, started 37th, finished in the top 5. So it really doesn't matter where you start here. Looking back at it, Ed Robertson, last season's winner, started all the way back in 23rd. So it just matters how you manage the tires and stay out of trouble. We had 8 yellows in our race a season ago, so expect a lot of carnage here tonight.
Keep an eye on all the storylines as we get into qualifying here tonight, and especially the starts and restarts. This track is so wide, we're going to see things get really spicy when we get that green flag in the air, whether it's lap 1 or lap 101. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all Area broadcasts commercial-free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. That's twitch.tv/Area iRacing. Cars on track for qualifying, Finian, and this is, again, for the playoff competitors, a pretty critical time. You don't want to have to fight your way back through traffic, and especially at a place where you can wear your stuff out so fast. We've seen drivers have to save over the course of a run, and tonight is not a night that you want to do that if you're a playoff competitor.
No, absolutely not. You're going to want to hope that these guys don't wear out your stuff too early. You want to make sure you carry your stuff out throughout the run, and one guy we've seen very good at doing it, and part of the reason why he has 8 wins is the 91 of Jake Nichols. He's been so good at saving his stuff over the course of a run, carrying himself, carrying and maintaining that speed, so he doesn't fall off. He doesn't take it easy, put around. No, he goes pretty quick the entire time while saving his equipment. That's really going to be key here, especially when we get a green flag run.
He was the defending pole sitter from last season and holds the track record here, just a little bit over Sion Fine's lap time from season 1. 40.702 is the time Jake Nichols set it season ago. Wonder if these guys will eclipse that or get right around that mark.
Look at David Weishart rolling through the middle of 1 and 2. I'm curious to see which lap is better for drivers in qualifying. We've seen that kind of flip around, whether it's lap 1 or lap 2. Ricky Springer, though, Finian, what a season he has had. Wins, and then when he wasn't winning, 30th. So we'll see where he lands tonight, but he's been on a hot streak lately. Another new livery on this number 18 car, the Ghost Toyota Camry, and rolls out of turn 4. This could be a pretty critical turning point in the season if he can't get the results he's been getting lately up at the top of the board.
Yeah, and he has just been shy of getting 3 top 5s in the last 3 races with 2 wins, Talladega, and then the next round right after that at Indianapolis, or I guess redacted road course, as we're now calling it. Did a great job there and then finished 6th place last week at Las Vegas. So he's been on a pretty good hot streak as of late. He's been pretty decent in practice as well. We'll see if he can execute in qualifying on the top of the boards right now after lap 1.
See what lap 2 does. Boy, Brad Slaughter, 40.19.
Wow, that's a quick lap.
That was just on his first lap, too.
Springer across the line at a 40.330. It's quicker. Gets him 4th and shuts the engine off and coasts by turn number 1. Brad Slaughter Jr., though, see him on the bottom of the racetrack at the exit of turn 2, so he's already completed his laps. That was lap 2 for him, so He will go to provisional pole. Michael Sturgill goes second fastest. He's also come down to a stop as Kazuma Yoneshiwu goes sixth quick. Who else is on track? Jake Nichols has not started rolling yet. Here comes Ryan Hartz screaming off into turn one here. I know these aren't the 950 horsepower monsters of 2014, Finian, but man, they're still hauling into turn one.
And really the big thing is that, they might not be carrying a whole lot of speed down the straightaway, but in the corners, these things are hooked and flying around these corners with the amount of downforce they have compared to their older counterparts. As you look at Ryan Hartz, see if he can get the job done. Michael Curran, a great job from the 24 machine, was a little bit lacking in practice, looking pretty good in qualifying, up to second on the board.
Going to help him out if he can stay inside the top 10 after qualifying. The three of Hearts looking to get redemption, especially after last week's heartbreak yet again in Las Vegas. 40.5, good enough for 15th, quickest on the first lap. We'll see if he can improve on lap number 2.
And if you recall, the battle was between him and the 91 of Jake Nichols, and he was right on the tailpipes of that 91 going off into turn 3, and he thought about it. He lunged for it, Finian, but he didn't kind of complete the job. He got in there and he's not a guy that'll wreck you for a win, and he's maintained that. But, and it is pushing pretty far along in the playoffs, Finian, but do you think you can win the championship playing that nice each and every week?
I mean, I don't really think so. I mean, we talk, Tony Stewart, I'm pretty sure, said it. He would wreck his bomb for a championship. And I think, at some point, push is going to come to shove, especially with a championship on the line. Yeah, some guys may do some things. We'll see if Ryan Hart's going to do it. Unfortunately, he's not going to get pole. We'll get third place, though.
Yep, 3 puts a P3, and here is the defending pole winner from a year ago, Jake Nichols, 40.5 on his first lap. He's already got 3 poles on the year, the most of any Cup driver. See if he can get pole number 4 today, or see if Brad Clark can hold on to it, or looking around, seeing some of the drivers who have yet to go out. Maybe Ed Robertson's winner from a season ago could try and put that baby on pole, but we'll see what the 91 does.
Love watching the cars bounce on that very bumpy back straightaway. Really dynamic to watch that splitter kind of hip and heave off into turn number 3. Here comes Nichols, cuts down onto the apron on the front straightaway across the line. A 40.276, not good enough for pole. It'll put him P4.
Disqualifying effort from the 91. As you usually expect, Travis Beckner on the back straightaway, about to complete his second lap. Let's look at Dwayne Culberson coming to complete his first flyer, or second flyer actually.
Quick lap, 43.11, puts him P7. Noted Travis Beckner coming out of 4th.
Come across the line, 26 at the moment. We'll see if he can improve. He's looking pretty quick in practice. We'll see if his qualifying pace matches. Not quite. Only up to 18th.
Hey guys, that lap for Dwayne Culberson, if it sticks where he is, that's going to be his highest starting position in his career here in area.
All right.
He's besting a 14th place start he had this season way back at Talladega. So if he can hold on to that 6th place, that'll be the best qualifying effort the 81's laid down all season.
Well, and P14 was the previous best. That's a pretty impressive run for Culberson to get up that high. Here comes Senesac, lap 1, 29th quick. Lap 2 has been a smidge quicker for pretty much everybody. Sans Yoneshiwu and a few others that had a slip up, so we'll see what Senesac can do. Ed Robertson, Andrew Player, and Douglas Newbegin also on track in this 36-car field finish.
Yeah, I was taking a look at Alex Weaver because he was 3rd quick in practice. Unfortunately, made a slip up off of turn 2. I don't think his lap is going to be particularly quick as he Senesac ran out of turn 4, coming down onto the apron across the Geico signs on the apron and across the line for the 09. Is it any good, though, is the big question, and not quite, only up to 28.
Well, I did mention that the track record was a 40.702. Currently, the top 25 have all broken that track record.
Well, good to know. That is unbelievable. Now, was that with the Gen 6 car, or was that with the next gen?
No, that was with the next gen. But I believe they've made some updates to it since then, so it handles a lot better at this track.
And I think also, did the package change? We're not running 550 anymore.
Because you got 670 right now, right? Or
no? I believe so. So that's going to jack up the power levels for sure. Ed Robertson at 47.35. Douglas Newbegin enters turns 3 and 4 rim riding here on lap number 1. Whoa, big slide there in 3 and 4. Chases it and into the fence.
That's going to ruin his lap. He's going to have to hope for more. And Ed Robertson, as he was on his second lap, got loose off of turn 2. Slow in the back straight. I think he knows that his qualifying effort is essentially done. That'll be it for him. One thing I want to know, didn't touch upon it, Gabriel Ellison talked about his being concerned of the 27's pace. Came in, knocked into 10th place in qualifying, 5th of the playoff drivers, so not too bad considering he just came into practice late.
Well, looking down here at the Twitch chat, the poll question is, will we see a new winner tonight? And we've already got 5 different winners this season of Beckner, Jake Nichols, Scioli, Springer, and Weishart. Bet exclamation point bet yes or no. Wager as little as 10 channel points. We're up to 10,000. Jacob Bell went ahead and bet yes that there will be a new winner, and that it'll be him because he has the script for tonight's race.
I like that. I like the confidence. Newbegin across the line here, finishing out lap number 2. This one is going to be better, but still a handful of seconds off pace. And he will start at the tail of the field.
No, he's got one more lap.
Oh, he does.
Yes.
Good catch. So he can still salvage this.
No, see, he's getting tight out of turn 2.
Oh, boy.
Just say that was his up to speed lap after he reset because he didn't quite get to the line after he got the wall off 4.
Into turn 3 now. Might
Yeah,
just, sorry, Finney, I was going to say this might just be a bit of a struggle for him. He's been real hot in qualifying this year, but the race pace hasn't come with this. Hopefully this way is the opposite tonight. That's better.
Yeah, better. Not probably what he hoped for, only up to 28th. I think if he didn't have that slip up, he'll probably be in the top 20, considering how close some of the times are.
Looking down, you see the spread of the playoff competitors on the timing and scoring. Quite the spread, I'd say. Weishart and Beckner specifically outside of the top 15 for the launch of this 100, so that's going to be a concern for them. They've got some work to do in this 104-lap race.
Indeed, and going back to Jake's comment, I really wouldn't count him out. He has a 3rd place finish here from season 1, in which he lost that race to our very own Eric Weiland up here. That was that was still such a great finish back in season 1. Fuel
That
mileage
memory-
at the very end.
That memory is still ingrained from the broadcast when I watched it back after that win. Hunter spinning and schwinning. I will never let you live that one down. The single best area call in history, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight. And at this point, I mean, how do you not count out the guy at the top of this playoff leaderboard?
I don't think he can. And plus 53, he's good, I think, as far as he's not locked, but he's pretty good, I'd say, at this stage. And who knows if he won't come out of this one with another victory on tonight. Before we get into the starting lineup, let's make sure you know about the starting grid sponsor. That is Roasted Gems Coffee. Fans, be sure to visit Roasted Gems Coffee for some of the finest coffee from all over the world. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. Finney and I definitely just jinxed Jake Nichols, but the entire field should thank me because they're going to need some help to run him down, that's for sure.
Yeah, but here's the interesting thing. I'm looking through the order here. Based off the Twitch poll, are we going to have a first-time winner? Only 2 drivers in the top 10 have had a win, and the entire top 3 has had no win so far this season. So I think there's a good chance, again, based off of qualifying, good chance we might see a new first-time winner. Or Jake Nichols will get his 9th win of the season. It's either or, I think, at this point.
All right, so field is heading down to the racetrack now. Brad Slaughter Jr. is on your pole, and it's about time to roll through your Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup. So let's do that, Finney, and kicking things off on row number 1. It's going to be that number 88 of Brad Slaughter Jr. He'll start up alongside playoff competitor Michael Curhan in the number 24.
And behind them, the guys racing it down to the checker flag last week. Ryan Hart's going to be starting on the inside in 3rd place. Actually, in 4th place, Jake Nichols in the 91.
Starting in row number 3, it's Michael Sturgill in the number 17. Chris Seidenfeiden rolls off 6th in the number 45.
Frank Ulverson's going to be rolling off in the 81 in 7th place. Next to Ricky Springer back in the 18 car in 8th place.
9th place is Chris Rabel in the number 29 car. Behind them, it's going to be Gabriel Ellison in the number 27 playoff competitor, rolls off 10th.
Kazuya Yoshio is going to be lined up in the 84 car in 11th place, with Tyler Nichols next to him in the 41 in 12th place.
13th place is Dom DeLeo, playoff competitor in the number 22. And Danny Ware in the 00. It starts 14th.
Back in 15th is going to be Mark Patterson in 51, and David Weiser is going to have a little bit of work to do back from 16th in the 33.
Starting 17th, it's Rafe Slate in the number 8. Travis Beckner rolls off 18th in the 28 car.
Back in 19th is going to be Jacob Bell in the 77 machine, with Alex Weaver next to him in the 4 car, rounding out your top 20.
21st place is Jordan Martin in the number 11. Brandon Bowie in the 23 starts 22nd.
Back in 23rd, it's going to be Greg Mitchell in the number 2 car with Derek Grant next to him in the 5 in 24th.
25th place is Seth Noel in the number 1. And Andrew Player starts alongside him in the outside of row 13 in the number 13 car.
Jeff Ryan's going to be rolling off in the 37 car in 27th with Douglas Blubey next to him in the 71 and 28th.
29th place is Delonte Ballard in the number 21 car. Bryce Senesac in the 09 starts 30th.
Back in row 16 is going to be Ed Robertson in the 64 car, and next to him, Jonathan Cogswell in the 26 in 32nd.
33rd place is James Scioli, eliminated from the playoffs last week in spectacular fashion. Connor Okrezik starts 34th in the number 14 car.
And rounding out your grid with 36 cars, going to be Alan Balancino, just Alan Balancino in the 70 in 35th.
All right, Hunter, who you got winning this thing tonight?
Good question. So I'm going to go ahead and just say that Jake Nichols gets it done. Win number 9 on the season. I think he finally gets that monkey off his back. Hasn't won here. Finished outside the top 10. Due for a win.
Finian, who you got winning Auto Club tonight?
Ooh, I think it's going to be a tough one. I'm going to go with the unorthodox pick, Michael Curran in the 24. I think he's going to have something. Maybe surprise us here with a win in the playoffs.
Eric Wineland down on pit lane. Who you got winning this race tonight out of the 35 starters?
Man, Hunter and Finian, I think too much like them. I got Jake Nichols because this is redemption from last season when he led 66 laps but didn't score the win. He was also the fastest in 10-lap average. But my dark horse pick is Curhan to get himself above that cut line tonight, Kyle.
Well, I don't have any money on the line for this, but I'm going to pick the number 3 of Ryan Hartz. I'm not confident in that, but I'm hoping after the night he had last week at Las Vegas. The round of 8 for the Area Cup Series kicks off from Fontana, California. It's time to go racing. Race number 15 of the season. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Auto Club Speedway. Rewind in the background now that they head down the back straightaway with a 91 to the top of the 88, who gets swallowed alive. Hartz to the lead into turn 3.
Yeah, Michael Curran making some great moves on the outside up to second place, or really getting back second place after they went 3 wide. Now trying to get to Ryan Hartz, who's up into the lead. Jake Nichols trying to fight back on the inside to get into third, up to second place.
Hartz will lead lap 1, but the pulse there has already fallen outside of the top 5. Not a good start for the 88 of Slaughter. However, Nichols looking low early on, lap 2, looking for that lead. Here comes Kern on the outside.
Through turn number 2, the 24 is going to have a big head of steam here. That's what the outside lane will get you. The 91 on the bottom, still trying to fight back. Going to try to side draft the 3. Hartz, though, still leads into the third corner. And here comes that 24, though, to the outside.
Yeah, that's how you got to do. You got to throw the car into the corner, then kind of slide up on exit to secure that spot. And that's exactly what Jacob Nichols is going to do off of turn 4. He will lead lap number 2.
Oh, Hartz not done yet. Going to look low here on the front stretch. He's got the 17 of Sturgill following him, heading into turn 1, side by side for the first 6 spots.
190 miles an hour off into turn number 1. Curran now kind of the middle of the party here as the 45 of Seidenfeiten goes to the top lane with the 17 sideways out of turn 2, gathering it back up.
Gathering it back up, but he's going to potentially lose quite a few spots. Actually, not too bad. Actually, going to get up to speed pretty quickly here. Get back into 6th. But yeah, one of the was Chris Seidenfeiten. Started in 6th. He hasn't started in the top 15 in any other race this season so far, except for Daytona. So he's had a fantastic qualifying effort and making the most of it here.
He did say in the pre-race chat that Auto Club was one of his favorite tracks for some reason. Doesn't know why, but always seems to run well here, and it's showing early on here on lap 4, looking a little further back, riding on board Chris Rabel in the 29 as Dwayne Culberson in front of him. He's looking in the third, 6th lane. There's like 6 lanes that you can run in the middle of the turn, and he's in the middle of them.
You see the 41? He was just mere centimeters from the outside wall, Finian, painting the California blue right up on that outside groove and making speed with it right now. Look at him go drive forward.
Yeah, trying to make up as much ground as possible. And you see how many more drivers are going to see shift to the outside lane. It's starting to look better and better each lap, and we're only 4 laps into this race. as they continue onwards. And we got Eric Wineland in the booth. What's Eric? What you got?
I can't get stuff set straight. There we go. Hey guys, you guys were talking about Chris Rabel. Here's radio from he and his teammate Brandon Bowie.
I think I'm just gonna ride.
I think it's so loose on like the late exit.
So Chris is feeling a little sketchy right now, mid-pack behind the 81 there. He says loose on exit, especially late exit as he comes up off the banking onto the straightaway.
Thanks, Eric. Back onto the front stretch here, working lap number 5 of 105. This is actually kind of on the shorter end of the area Cup Series races, but it's going to be exhausting for drivers tonight. This is a hard racetrack to cooperate with. You're constantly chasing grip in the different grooves. You're constantly in traffic, and your spotter take a shot every time he says 3 wide tonight. No one's going to make it past lap 15.
Whoa, Jordan Martin. Whoa.
Sideways behind him, the 51 back across the racetrack. And the 8 cars around. Upside down is the 51. Mark Patterson is upside down, skidding on his roof down the back straightaway.
And
Holy
2 separate
cow.
wrecks are going to bring out the caution here, and what a way to start the evening.
Holy cow.
That's a massive run. We're only on lap 6. We've already seen the big one.
That was enormous. Seth Noel's in it. He's got big time damage to the left front of that car. Man.
Wow, we're going to have to go back and take a look at that. There were 2, like you said, 2 wrecks happening at once. I think the one up front with Rafe Slade, they were checking up from Jordan Martin, but we'll go back and look at what happened to Mark Patterson here. Simrad Market Replay.
Yeah, so here he is going off into turn 1. He's got the 71 of Newbegin behind him. And I think the 51 I think he gets loose on his own. Right here, gets loose, and then he just saves it, corrects it, gets into the dirty area on the apron, comes back across the racetrack, and then ramps the rear of the 09 and goes skidding down the racetrack. That was part 1. And then Rafe Slate here had his own separate incident that I think this was a more multi-car situation here. There's Jordan Martin right here, tags the 8, sends him into the 1, and then the 1 car is going to hit big time on the inside wall.
Yeah, Slate got off lucky with there, just spun and didn't hit anything, but huge contact for the one in Seth Noel. He's going to spend a lot of time in the pits repairing that hit.
Man. Jonathan Cogswell, I'm sure, got a great view of this. We'll ride on board the nose here. Like something out of a horror movie.
I was going to say something out of an action movie, like what you see in Hollywood, car just getting up in the air, flipping over.
On board Bryce Senesac.
I think Bryce might have had a better view of this.
Better you could define in different ways.
Oh.
Try that one again. Thought we would see it off the gearbox cam, but man. And then just because we have to, Mark Patterson, we're going to go inside for this one. Oh man, the violence of that. So, first caution of the night, and a big one. 1 car upside down on the roof, and Chris Seidenfeiden is your leader. Nobody came to pit lane except for about a half dozen drivers that came on down, besides those that were directly involved, including David Weishart.
Yeah, Weiser decided to come down is a bit interesting. I was trying to see what position he was running before that. And he was running 22nd. So only lost 4 spots in that. I guess figured might as well come down, get some fuel. No one didn't really get any tires. In fact, really a lot of the people who weren't involved in that incident just came down to just gas up.
Yeah, so most of the guys that are on pit road in front of me, guys, are getting their damage repaired right now. But I do have a radio for you from Physicus. This is Rafe Slate giving his opinion on what happened, though he made sure to make a point. He has not seen the replay to know what happened between he and Jordan Martin. Here you go.
Well, we were 3, but like Jordan just came up.
That was terrifying.
The terrifying bit there was Alan Balancino in the 70 as he rode through that wreck. Quite scary from his on board that I got to watch, and I never would have thought we would have seen Mark Patterson flipping down the back straightaway, especially only 8 laps into tonight's event. But here we are. David Weishart's pit, by the way. Strategy move, yes, but I don't think it quite makes it a one-stop for him yet. He's still outside that window based on my numbers, guys. So this is probably just for a shorter refill when he does decide to make a pit stop.
Thanks, Eric. And yeah, that was big flip, but this is a fast racetrack, and I think we're going to see some more big hits tonight. And just that's the reality of racing at Fontana. So one big crash down. Who knows how many left, but playoff competitors mostly dodging that one. But time to go racing again. Lap number 10 of 105. Seidenfeiden in the lead. Green flag back in the air. One car, Garrett Grant on the apron.
Yeah, not sure why he got on the apron, if he was just trying to slip to the back, but he's going to get back in line and continue on racing as everyone else fans off into turn 1.
Might have spun the tires there. It seemed like there's going to be some sort of checkup there or some sort of clogging, but nonetheless, Chris Seidenfeiden opened up to a big gap already, but look at Jake Nichols ready to set charge up to the leader, looking for second on Ricky Springer. Michael Curran got a car below him. That's Michael Sturgill.
Bill Sturgill kind of rebounding. He had a big slip of his own a couple laps into the race. Look at the 77 of Jacob Elrim riding here. He's got the 81 of Culberson to his inside. The 28 of Travis Beckner is down there as well.
Yeah, by rim riding that outside, he just picked up about 2 or 3 spots, and he's really liking that outside, and so is Jake Nichols all the way up in the wall. You can see up ahead, trying to see if he can find any sort of speed.
That is Larson lining at its finest right there.
But look at it pay off down the back straightaway, though, Finian. That's 5-6 miles an hour better than the drivers he was racing around, and he's going to have a shot at the lead here down to the bottom in turn 3. One thing we haven't really seen in iRacing that you could probably do here in the real world, we've seen drivers do, is go onto the apron in turns 3 and 4. It seems like the top of the 2 lines is the more dominant one.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm curious to see again as this run goes on, as the track starts to rubber up, how those lines are going to change. So you look at Jordan Martin riding nose to tail here.
Look at this restart for the 11. Huge restart, moved up a whole bunch of spots on that one. Right here.
Whew. 4, 6, pretty much 7, 8 spots before the time he got to turn 1. Great job by the 11.
And this is back live, and things are. This racetrack is so wild to watch because you get drivers fanned 4 and 5 wide, and they're so far apart they might as well not even be side by side. But then they all condense again on corner exit.
Yeah, that's exactly where you see a lot of incidents happen, is when everyone converges off the corner, especially turn 2, which I have a feeling is potentially going to be the troublesome corner for a lot of these drivers tonight, especially as the tires get more laps to them and potentially see more guys get loose.
Ooh, Jordan Martin might have clipped the wall there. There's Dwayne Culberson, a little low there. But yeah, it's a shame that this track is getting configured to a short track. Whoa, there's Culberson loose again. This track is unique, unlike any other. This is wider than Michigan, faster than Michigan. Sad to see it go.
Culberson sideways out of 4, bounces off the wall, and he gathers it up.
He is still trying to save that race car.
Yeah, he's really struggling the last 2 corners. He was wicked loose, is going to save him, but lose a huge amount of spots in the process.
Yeah, if you told me that you're going to tear this place up, I would have just said, why don't you just tear up Michigan instead? This has always been the better of the 2 tracks, in my opinion. And I think a lot of the recent races before the decision to turn it into a short track were more of a product of the vehicle on it than the track itself. But I just...
The track they need to tear up is Texas.
Yeah, they should just stop trying with that one if you're asking me. But
you can build an Amazon there.
Be more useful.
Or a Mexican prison. After the news today, that was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of fun, looks like Beckner's having fun. A little bit of fun. He can come up if he wants to.
Here comes the 11. Look at the run he's got to the bottom.
Yeah, Martin taking no prisoners tonight, trying to get these huge runs and make the most out of them. He's going to throw to the inside of Beckner, Rafe Slade just ahead of them.
He's he's a man on a mission. He did not pit. He has the same tires as everybody else, but he's really loose on the bottom there, and he lost all the spots he gained.
The trouble is, these cars are so dependent on maintaining the momentum. That's why the outside lane is so good around here. Maintaining that momentum, getting a huge run out of the corners is so vital. When you're stuck on the bottom, you can get a very poor exit and can cost you quite a few spots on the straightaways.
Oh, they get close to that wall too. I think Beckner just clipped it.
I think he slammed it. Everybody's scattering here a little bit, but Beckner obviously hurt. Let's have a look. Right here.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah, he definitely got a piece of that. And how much damage will he have? Again, this is a pretty critical race and pretty critical track for Aero, Finian. So could that impact Beckner? One lap after doesn't seem to be a huge deal, but might hold him up at least in the pits.
Oh, I think he definitely can hold him up in the pits, trying to fix that damage. But so far, not looking too bad. I'm trying to look at the right front of that car. It actually doesn't seem too bad, so it looks like he got away with it. And that's a big thing because, again, these cars are so dependent on aerodynamics that get a little bit of damage. You're going to be very slow around here on the straightaways, and he can't afford that. And also, like you mentioned, can't really afford the repair time in the pits.
Speaking of pits, seems like Eric Weiland might have an update for us down on pit road.
Hey guys, yeah, so I was just in Lucky Duck Motorsports team channel when that all happened in front of Gabriel Ellis, and why did I join that? Well, he is very upset, guys. I don't have the radio for you. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to put explicit words out there, too many of them, I should say, and I'm not going to make Gabriel have to deal with the repercussions of calling some of his competitors some words, but he was extremely upset with most of the guys around him, including yelling, "Why don't you have a spotter?" to a driver I couldn't quite tell who exactly it was. And then the scream that ensued when Travis Beckner got loose and slammed the wall right there off of turn 2 was quite a scream. And then he said, "What are you doing, you absolute..." So Gabriel Ellison, playoff driver here, not having a great time, and he's going to need to rebound if he wants to try to have a good night. He's going the wrong direction right now, back to 15th after this restart.
To quote Christopher Bell from the other night, "This is fun. We are having fun."
One driver who's not having as much fun as he was a few laps ago is Chris Seidenfeld, lost the lead. He got loose off of turn 2, and that caused Ricky Springer and Nichols to pounce on him, and they got past him as well as Michael Sturgill, so he's back and forth.
Just shows how crucial that outside line is, and if you mess up or don't get the run off the corner, those next few cars behind you that do, it's going to swallow you up in a hurry. And we got two purple cars here up front, duking it out for the lead, all on the bottom, too. Nichols looking to the outside, though, but Springer holding on for now. Here comes Nichols down on the bottom. Got to run with Sturgill from behind.
Really racy up at the front here. And Ricky Springer, again, is just showing he's got massive speed tonight. And he's got 3 wins on the season, more than anybody other than Jake Nichols. So he certainly could be a threat. Michael Sturgill, though, to the bottom out of turn number 4. He's in the mix now and has a side draft on this 18. But that upper groove is really dominant, especially in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, Sturgill's trying to break up the Toyota party up near the front between Nichols and Springer, trying to join the battle. To the inside, he will look. And one of those drivers not in the playoffs, so he really doesn't have a whole lot to lose here. He's just going for wins at this point in the season, trying to make it work on the inside, but the outside run, you can see the 91 and the 18 come back strong.
Duking it out. That's all Jake Nichols wants to see, because that's going to cause a little bit of separation. Seidenfeld trying to rally things up there all the way on the outside. Seems like he, and I believe that's Connor O'Kresiker, and it might be Jacob Bell. They have the right idea. He's trying to get his way back up towards the front. Going to close in on the bumper, not going to have enough room to make a move until they
Rumble,
get
turn 4, guys. Spin, big crash,
big
the
one.
11. And more.
Big hit on the front stretch.
Yeah, Robertson also involved.
Oh, clearing. Must have been a smoky one with all the dust and debris lingering in the air here. See what happened, and if it started somewhere other. Oh, right in front of him, the 22, the 8. Oh, that's a playoff competitor, Dominic DeLeo, that was involved in it. And he gets hit hard, guys. That's going to be big damage for a playoff competitor.
Yeah, the oldest we talked about, these guys coming off the corner, everyone separates and then they converge back on the straightaway. We see DeLeo get up just a little bit too much into the 4 and into Culberson, and around they go. Martin collected as well. So huge implications for the 22 getting creamed there at the end by the 64 Red Robertson.
And DeLeo already entered 3 points below the cut line, so this is not going to help his case at all. We're going into Richmond for next week. And Ed Robertson just trying to navigate his way through. Miss 1, can't miss 2.
Man. What a mess out of turn 4.
Yeah, Eric Wineland, I'm sure you got a great review of that from pit lane.
It was absolutely wild, Finian, but I got radio for you. This was literally the lap for the incident. Alex Weaver was talking to me. He's a one-man show tonight for IRLC.
It's hectic back here, but I'm trying to conserve as much as I can. That way I have something for me in the long run, because I feel like it's coming here. But I mean, nah, everybody's fairly clean back here. Except when I get stuck on the bottom, it's kind of aggravating, but try not to use my stuff up.
Guys, he gave me that quote literally one lap before the incident where he just ended up being in the middle, stuck in the middle between Dom DeLeo and Dwayne Culberson, and it just did not work out. Also, I jumped in with Jacob Bell Racing just to hear what was going on in the channel. Ed Robertson, not a happy camper, said another meatball and was absolutely not having a good time. Meanwhile, everybody coming down pit road at me here, except for the 13 of Andrew Player and the 33 of David Weishart. They pit under the last yellow. This is going to make it a one-stop the rest of the way, guys. We were expecting 40 to 45 on a full tank of gas here at Auto Club with 82 to go as they just crossed the line right there. This will make it a one-stop the rest of the way. Jake Nichols clean 4 tires in service down and away in front of me. And it looks like he is going to win the race off of pit road.
Thanks, Eric. And yeah, big mess and big playoff implications for the 22 of Dom DeLeo. And again, as he came in underneath the cut line, Hunter, this situation is not good for the 22, and this is almost certainly going to put him in a must-win situation heading into next week's event at Richmond.
Without a doubt, this is probably going to put him in a must-win situation. They're -3, and then adding insult to injury, he did not have a good finish here a season ago, so it just seems like this track is not kind to Dom, at least not today. In that case, I think he could still go out there and try to log some laps there. I don't know how much damage he's got to repair, but nonetheless, still going to be catastrophic heading into Richmond next week.
So it looks like Andrew Player will come out as looks like he did not pit, neither did David Weishart. Everybody else pit, everyone else took 4 tires. No major strategy calls to speak of there. Well, we got a moment. We've had a couple chances to look at some SimWrap Market replays. Fans, be sure to check out simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. And I had the opportunity, as David Weishart hits pit lane here, I had the opportunity to check out SimWrap Market the other day and look at a couple liveries. And man, they have a really cool and slick website. Got some really neat liveries on there for all sorts of cars, not just oval cars, but road racing cars as well. So if you're curious, simwrapmarket.com. Quick yellows here, Finian. 1 to green already. Player and Nichols on the outside. Springer and Sturgill row 2. I really like how that 18 car looks. None of us picked him to win this race, but he certainly looks like he could do it.
Yeah, definitely one big note as well. Chris Seidenfein, notably not near the front of the field. He got a pit road speeding penalty, and it's going to have to drop back all the way to 26th. And it's unfortunate because he's having such a good run up until that point. We'll see if he can get himself back up near the front.
You know, he's right around where trouble has been lurking the entire day, or that seems to be where the cautions have come out. But I'm confident with how fast that 45's been. It'll get back up here in little to no time. And speaking of back here in little to no time, Eric Weiland, what you got for us?
A development from pit road, guys. David Weishart came down pit road after staying out that first time around, but I believe that's a procedure issue on iRacing where he entered a closed pit because you're not allowed to trap lap cars a lap down like that. And he's going to have to serve a black flag here. It's a matter of what race control decides he has to serve. But if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to be a drive-through or a stop and go for car 33 here on the restart.
Well, it's going to be a penalty of some kind, and it's not going to help him, I guarantee you that. Another playoff competitor in peril here. 25 laps in, we're under green again. Look at the 70 car of Balacino jumping 3 wide to the outside for turn 1.
Yeah, and Weiser confirming he did get a penalty for entering a closed pit. as everyone fans out in behind player almost 4 wide off of turn 2.
Getting crazy on this restart. They're using every bit of racetrack they can, except for the apron. Jake Nichols loving what he's seeing, though. They're 4 wide heading into turn 3, as that is Ricky Springer on the bottom.
Oh, this is dicey stuff here on the restart. The 13 car going backwards quickly, guys. The tire wear a couple seconds to run, so 17 laps on those older tires was never going to work out for the 13. He will drop right into the middle of the pack here, and a couple of cars, the 84, I believe, trying to carve his way to the bottom. Cosman Yoneshiwu almost banging doors into turn 1.
Yeah, player dropping back fast, so definitely you can tell the difference in tires. Almost 15 lap older tires for Andrew Player. Definitely not worth it. You definitely want that fresh rubber as he continues to drop back. Mostly single file up for the lead, except for Ryan Hart trying to make moves on the inside of Sturgill.
Their hearts are current.
Sorry, and a quick update. Sorry, Hunter, to cut you off. Dave Weishart, race control confirming he will have to serve that penalty on dirt green.
Serve it
He's
now.
going to do it right now.
You got to serve it now. I mean, if you wait longer, you're just going to find yourself further in the pack. So he has to come serve it. And you only get a couple of laps to serve it. I think 3 laps. So that was good, smart thinking to get it done as quickly as possible. You shouldn't go a lap down here if you're right next to the pack and you get back rolling. You should be okay. Sturgill to the lead.
Sturgill to the lead. We'll see if he can hold it. He's out there by quite a bit ahead of Hart and Nichols, as they continue to fight for second and third place.
They're right back here with 28 or 29 of Chris Rabel, looking for the 8th spot from Tyler Nichols. Boy, he's shoving the bumper out of him. And look at Sturgill, got a nice lead, comfortable for now, but the 91 of Jake Nichols looking to close that gap.
Almost looks like he's controlling a pack race with him kind of floating between the top and the bottom grooves here. And that 17 is actually pulling away as Nichols, Springer, and Hart duke it out for second place. Ray Slate back up in the mix. Remember, he was involved in that first caution of the night, so he has not wasted a lot of time moving back forward.
Yeah, again, got really lucky with that he didn't get damaged like Seth Noel did, who is currently running back at 13 laps down, was able to avoid that, and he's got a car he can work with. Just needed to change the tires, and now fighting up here for 4th place with Ryan Hartz.
Get a good look at the field flying by, and there is Rafe Slate, Connor Okresic there. Haven't talked about Okresic too much tonight, but Rafe Slate has had quite a bit of, quite a handful, should say. And speaking of handful, Eric Weiland is back with an update from pit road.
Update on the 33 for you guys. It was a 40-second hold for
man.
David Weishart. So he sat on pit road for forever. He's 1 lap down currently, and it looks like he is not anywhere near the pack as well. So he may be in danger. Actually, the pack is right behind him at the start-finish line now as he's entering 1. So it means the 33 is in danger of going 2 laps down here if he can't stay out ahead and hope for a quick yellow right here.
And maybe another one after that, because he is not the first car 1 lap down right now. Dom DeLeo is. Dom got that car driving again miraculously after that big crash he had out of turn 4, so we'll see how it pans out for the 33, but not a good situation to be in here, Finian, although this is still a lot of racing left to go. So as long as he gets a couple yellow flags in pretty quick succession, it shouldn't be night over.
Yeah, no, he was very frustrated with race control. Had a few choice words for that, but unfortunately he did enter a closed pits and so they threw their hands up saying you can went against what's being told to you on the screen, so there's nothing really they can do for that. So that's why he's already got that penalty. Unfortunately now, he's talking about it, he made your bet, and I have to lay in it. He's got to work himself back from 1, potentially 2 laps down. I think he's going to hope for a caution to come out as soon as possible, so that way he doesn't get put a 2nd lap down.
He's going to be fighting in his bed in a minute once this pack gets up to him, because I doubt he's going to let them go. He's going to fight for everything he can, and he doesn't want to be in too much of a hole going into Richmond.
But just to be clear, it wasn't a race control mistake or any kind of glitch. There was, as Finian mentioned, going against something that's on your screen. Now, there are situations when the sim tells you to do something wrong, but that's not one of those situations, Finian. So no surprise that the penalty was upheld there by race control after receiving it automatically from iRacing. Eric Wineland on pit lane.
Yeah, so I was just going to give you a little bit of clarification there. So this has been an issue in area ever since, I guess, the league really started, where iRacing is setup that you cannot, as a lead lap car, attempt to trap lap cars behind the pace car and prevent them from getting a wave around by staying out and missing your opportunity to pit the first time around. So pit road tells you it's closed on the screen that second time around if you didn't pit the first time around.
Yep.
Especially since the cautions are shorter here, since we're on a track that is 2 miles or longer. So not surprised. It's just a little known rule, guys, that it comes out every now and again and bites a driver in the butt. And unfortunately, this time it David Hazard in the butt. Meanwhile, I got some audio for you from the Lucky Ducks Motorsports crew with leader Michael Sturgill. They're having a little bit of fun now that he had about a half-second lead here.
Michael Sturgill is the best race car driver to ever live.
Yep.
So he and his team are laughing it up right now while he's enjoying the clean air. But I worry, guys, is he burning off his tires too early here in the run that he's not going to have anything after about 10 laps.
Oh, he just ran a 10th quicker than Springer and Slate, so if he's burning him up, he's doing it pretty effectively, I'd say. That's a lot faster. He's got a 4/10 of a second advantage. Ricky Springer runs second. Jake Nichols has faded to fourth. And Finian, anything I've learned about Jake Nichols, when he fades, he's tire saving. And that worries me for anybody that's in front of him right now, that at the end of this run, that 91 will be coming forward and coming fast.
Yeah, never count out this 91 car. Even if he says to count him out, don't count him out, because he's saving something. And I mean, he's only dropped back to fourth. It's not like he's dropped down the order to like 10th or worse. So he's definitely still very much in the game. Just kind of waiting for the right moment of striking, waiting for a lot of these guys to have a hit to battle their stuff out, and then wear their stuff out. Then he can pick them off one by one. You see him trying to make a move on Rafe Slate, have a look at Rafe Slate going into turn one, but still staying in behind.
Using them as a pick, really.
Down the back straightaway, nice and orderly right now. Single file, which is a nice thing to have your spotter shut up for a second, but here comes Springer to the bottom, going for the lead. Very different lines being chosen here. It seems like the top in 1 and 2 might be a little bit better. The bottom in 3 and 4 doesn't seem to be a bad choice, Vivian, as we work our way through this race. Quick look at the weather. Again, we started at 74. The track temp has fallen a couple of degrees. That's going to help overall race grip. As of lap number 36, 7 leaders and 7 lead changes at the front of the field.
Yeah, here comes another lead change. Potentially a Springer dives down deep into turns 1 and 2. Will come sliding back across the 17's nose on exit. It will clear him. Now, does Sturgill have enough of a run to get back at the 18 of Springer?
Gonna get up to the bumper. Don't know if he'll make the move. He's gonna settle back because now Springer's got to protect 3 lanes. They're looking 3 deep, but Sturgill's gonna get the run off the corner, I believe, unless, I don't know, looks like Rafe Slate might have something to say. Nope, they're gonna duck and dodge here on the front stretch. What they do at Auto Club.
Almost looks like a redacted car at the redacted oval.
It also just looks like a redacted car at this oval.
I love that joke. That will never not be funny to me. So I hope people get it because it's just hilarious. Look at the 27. Ooh, Gabriel Allison, his frustrations from earlier are manifesting as positions gained. Here he is up into 7th after dropping back initially. And fighting Okrezik here tight on the bottom, and it's very dicey here. He's going to slide up. Rabel's going to take him 3 wide out of 4. Not quite.
Almost making door to contact with the 14 of Okrezik. Will lose a bit of a run off of turn 4. Will drop back to 8, potentially 9th as Rabel's trying to drag race him down the front straightaway. Yeah, Gabriel Allison trying to make some moves up here to get more inside the top 10 as Rabel is in the wall in the 29.
Oh yeah, he's stuck in it out of turn 2, Hunter.
Staying out of harm's way. There's a little bit of separation there within the pack, so he fortunately was out of harm's way there, but not out of harm's way is the battle for the lead. Jake Nichols rolling on that upper groove all the way up near the wall. Gonna have a massive run coming out of the corner. Ricky Springer got to protect the bottom here. So here comes the 91. Oh, he leaves it open for him.
Yeah, Springer, again, he's battled Jake Nichols a couple times this season, so I wonder how much of this... I always wonder in moments like this, if the 91 kind of... He's saving, we know that, but does anybody else... Have they analyzed this pattern enough, Finian, to know that's what he's doing? Because Ricky Springer racing him pretty hard, as if he's just kind of going for it and trying to take the lead. I know you can't give the 91 anything ever because he's so good, but it's pretty clear when the 91, to me, is saving tire for later in the run. I'm just surprised we don't see more people trying that strategy.
I think it's just that he's doing such a good job at saving that he doesn't lose that speed. You know, I was talking about it earlier at the start of the races. He does a switch on the 18, going to work to the outside here. Is that he's so good at saving that he doesn't really cost him a whole lot pace-wise to save his machinery. While it feels like a lot of other guys, they have to bleed off a lot of their pace in order to save their equipment. And anyone's just, and again, that's why he's gotten 8 wins this season so far as he rockets onto the back straightaway out of the 18.
Look at this mess out of turn 2, Hunter. 28, the 5, the 00, the 21, 1, and more. The battle for about 19th spot into turn 3.
Yeah, a couple of playoff contenders here towards the back. Well, actually, it's just Travis Beckner, but he doesn't want to be in this mess, want to be closer towards the front. Just hasn't had quite the grip underneath the 28 car for this race. And Beckner was +4 to the cutoff heading into tonight. And with the run he's having, it's not going to look good for him going into Richmond.
And a similar battle just up the road with the 17, the 27, the 7 of James Scioli, eliminated from the playoffs last week. I don't think we would have expected that based on the season he had Finian, but just all kind of started going downhill after the IMS road course, and here he is outside of the playoffs now, just contending for wins.
Yep, really, and he's done a good job so far to work from the backyard. You can see on your screen right there from 33rd all the way to 9th place. It's taking him a little while to get inside the top 10, but here he is finally just about halfway through this race, trying to make some noise. And as mentioned, at this point, just have to worry about just trying to get some wins.
Boss man himself, David Weiss, are 37th to 5th of season to go, so it is possible trying to replicate that in some form as we look a little further towards the front. Boy, they are still swapping positions here inside the top 5. Gato Kresic just chilling there in the 5th spot, but up front, Slate moving up to 3rd, Springer moving up on the racetrack, and we should be moving down to pit road with another update from Eric Wyman.
Guys, I got 2 for you here. So we got DeLaunt Ballard talking about Garrett Graham, what he saw here.
I'm gonna send it right here on exit. Here we go.
Oh my God! Garrett Grant, I don't know how the fuck he's. Holy shit.
He get a stroke already.
Like, he was a wheel man there. Holy hell.
So, sorry, I tried my best to make sure the 4-letter words didn't slip through, but DeLaunt was wild in what he was watching in front of him with car 5, just saving it through T3 and 4 there on lap 40. Meanwhile, report from Ryan Hartz here, guys. Listen in.
I'm just loose. That's all I gotta say.
So pretty simple for Ryan Hartz right now, sitting there in 5th. He's just loose, and he's trying to figure out how to make it so he's not loose. They got about, I'd say, another 20 to 25 laps before we see him come to pit road for another set of tires, guys.
Thanks, Ryan. Wow, the 18 almost hit the wall in turn 2. Oh, excuse me. I was riding on board with Ryan Hartz, and I was thinking that. Thanks, Eric.
Hey, I don't get to call you out very often, Kyle.
Look at it. Thanks for correcting me. I was looking at lower third, reading one thing and saying another. But here's Okresic now slotting into 4th place, and the battle for the lead is back on. No one's been able to drive away, Finian. It's been pretty tight and tasty up front between this group.
Yeah, I was honestly convinced that Serta was going to be able to break away, be one of the first drivers to do so. He got out to about half a second, and then they reeled him back in. Just wasn't quite able to escape the clutches of the rest of the field, and no one, as you mentioned, has been able to do that so far. And again, the slipstream, the draft, it's so strong here. You can see just riding aboard with the 18 and running, gets out the corner, catches all the way back up to the 91. So that's why it's so hard to escape, because you can't really escape that slipstream from the car up ahead.
Nice run here. Well, he got a little loose there. Right on board with Springer. Holding on to the 2nd spot. Hartz, even though he's loose, still trying to hang tough inside the top 5. But yeah, you can see the massive runs these cars get on the straightaways.
192 off into turn number 1. And Springer is sticking with the 91. Tries the lower lane this time, just right off the quarter, but kind of in the arrow shadow of that 91. Didn't get the run he got the previous lap. The 3's in the wall out of turn 2, just scrapes it.
Yeah, enough to cost him some momentum, though. Okresic, speaking of momentum, has some on the 8 of race. Slate's going to throw it to the inside in turn 3. Not quite able to clear. Slate's going to power it and rocket back around the outside. Whoa, as Okresic gets a little bit loose on the bottom.
Grip's starting to go away on these cars as we get longer into the run. The longest run we've had so far in this race. We're not even halfway closing in on that, but this is the longest we've gone without a yellow. And starting to see some tire wear lose a little more for the rest of the competitors here.
Have a look. Jake Nichols, 41.8 last time by. The best is a 40.5. And we're about halfway through the stint, so we can expect to lose a couple of seconds over the course of a run here, which is a lot of time. Remember how little tire wear we saw at places like the IMS road course, Finian? This is a change in how this car has been recently. So we always saw the tires losing grip over the course of the run, but they didn't lose speed. And those are sometimes mutually exclusive things here with this next-gen car.
Yeah, absolutely. And also one driver I wanted to mention, as you look a little bit further back, is Alan Malachino in the number 70 machine. Ryan Mine Scioli's also had a fairly eventful day, going from 35th all the way up to 8th, now trying to get past 7th. The number 7 car of James Scioli, and as I see that, got Eric Wineland back with us from pit road. Eric, any more updates?
So Cosmin Yonishibu was not too happy. He said we're just side drafting ourselves away from the front pack right now, as he's sitting there in 10th. He finally cracked the top 10. He didn't think he was going to be able to do that with the guys in front of him. But I do have radio from his team. He makes a comment here to tag on. This is a continuation of what Delonte Ballard was saying about Garrett Grant. Here is radio from Garrett Grant.
I'm free to Skinner Freebird right now, brother. I'm hanging on for dear life.
Better Skinner Bird.
So I don't know if Cosmin totally got the Leonard Skinner Freebird bit there, but yeah, Garrett is not having a fun time in that 5 car right now. Currently, where's he at here on my list? P25. Sliding backward real quick here, guys.
Yeah, that rear tire wear especially is going to be an issue as we get later into this race. Just a couple laps from halfway at this stage, and the battle for the lead is still just a 1/10.5 of a second fitting.
Whoa, actually almost wiped out off turn 4. Got really loose there. You see him losing some speed. Almost brought off the caution right there.
Hart's got real loose coming out of 2 that time by, where we were talking or hearing the update from Eric. But yeah, we gotta expect these guys to come down pit road sooner than later, because the tire wear is just really fading on these cars.
I wonder if we're not only going to see some speed loss, but I wonder what the actual wear percentage is. I mean, do you think we might see blown tires here? I know we were close last week in one of the series at Las Vegas. I wonder if that could be the case here this week, and we're fighting tires going down by the end of a run.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know. I feel like if these guys had a much tighter setup, if they were leaning a lot more on the right front, I think we probably would have seen that, but it almost seems like these guys are losing more grip in the rears before the front tires, so I would think we probably won't see guys like have a flat. I think a lot of these guys would spin out before they end up getting a flat tire.
And one guy not trying to get a flat is Springer, because he's got a run going, trying to take second away from Ryan Hartz.
Oh, Cosmin Yonishiba was wiped out off of turn 2, was down below the apron.
Have a look at it. Tim Rat Market replay.
Riding in behind the 23 of Brandon Bowie here. He got a great rod on the 23 coming out of the turn. I think maybe trying to break. So pressing down lock up there, trying to save the 84 car.
Good save. They'll carry on and continue. The pole sitter for this race, Brad Slaughter Jr., had really good pace, well, in qualifying for a lap, but Hunter, since then, been really a mediocre race for the number 88.
Yeah, he fell back outside the top 5 within the first lap. Just has not gone his way since qualifying, because the start of the race really didn't go his way at all. And going back to the way of Eric Weiland with an update on pit road.
Yeah, so there are some teams out here tonight, guys, that are just giving me incredible content. So I've got Physicus Motorsports Radio for you here. This is Ricky Springer, Connor Okrezik, and Alan Malancino talking just about 2 laps ago.
It feels like junk, like a garbage can full of garbage going through turn 4.
Coming through 1 and 2, I am like a boat. Just dump truck, dump truck, dump truck, no turn, no turn, no turn. Big time shit now.
I'm catching you guys right now.
So on the tail end of that, that's Alan Balancino telling the guys that he is catching the front pack. And he actually is pulling his draft toward the front. His last lap is about 1 to 2 tenths better than the lead 6 right now, guys. So keep an eye on that 70 to start trying to close the gap, though he is dropping the guys behind him like James Scioli. Meanwhile, update you guys on one guy that stayed out through that last yellow was Andrew Player. He pit on lap 7, but he didn't pit under the most previous yellow there. That happened at about lap 20. He is currently 47 laps into his stint, but I'm sure he saved some fuel, so I'm expecting to see him on pit road the next 2 to 3 laps. And if he can get there, he'll make it to the end of the race, but he'll have to save some fuel.
Thanks, Eric, and I just had to laugh. Reminds me of the Kyle Busch plowing. Epic radio moments there, Eric. Is Greg Mitchell and Michael Sturgill trade spots for 11th. Battle for the lead has kind of calmed a little bit. Okresic has gone to second. Now Springer and Hartz fight for third. And then Tyler Nichols, Delonte Ballard, Ellison, Slaughter Jr. in this little scrap back here, about 15th spot.
Yeah, the top 10 is mostly quieted down. Some more skirmishes, as you mentioned, just around 15th place or so is really where the rest of it's continuous. Kind of got looking loose off of turn 2 for a second there. More and more drivers starting to make some mistakes here. Tires starting to wear out. And if players' laps or anything to go off of, these guys can go easily another 15 laps. The thing is, I don't know if the tires will last that long.
No, I don't think they can last that long with how long these guys have gone. But there is Valentino, mentioned it, slowly creeping. He's within a second now of Michael Kern.
And one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Right now, 352 last time by, which was faster than everybody except for Okresic and Hartz that are firmly in the draft of the race leader. So Valentino is coming, and coming pretty quick. And I think by the end of this run, he'll have caught this main top 6. So keep an eye on that number 70, as Eric told us. And Brandon Bowie, we haven't really talked a lot about the 23 car tonight, but here he is running in 9th. And started this race back in 22nd, so he's also having a pretty good showing. Running right now nose to tail with Scioli.
Yeah, he's been in a fight with him for about 10 laps or so. He's not been able to get past the 7. Actually caught up to him with the 70 of Alan Bellacino, and actually going to throw it way to the inside, trying to just see if he can sail on past the 7. Come flying up off the corner there. You see Scioli though with a big run back on him, riding that outside lane. And he's got to start all over again. And you can see these two guys kind of caught in the battle. Bellacino, I'm kind of impressed by the fact we talked about guys breaking the draft. Not many people have been able to do it, but in that second group that was forming, Bellacino was able to break away and drive up to the leader. So that 70 does have some serious pace.
He's finding a way to do it. And there is Mitchell following the tracks of Scioli down the front stretch here. While Okresic looks like he's closed in on Jake Nichols for the lead.
Eric Weiland even mentioned it's kind of calm right now. We're kind of clicking away laps, and pretty quickly too. I mean, there's only about a half hour left in this race, which feels like not a lot considering it's almost been an hour, I believe. Well, maybe not quite, about 45 minutes to this race so far. So we're getting there. And right now, Okresic and Nichols are going to fight for the lead, and Ryan Hartz has dropped about a half second behind these two.
They're trying to catch up here. I'm curious to see if we see any more moves from Okresic here as they catch up to Dominic DeLeo. Going to put the 22 machine a lap down after he tried to get, 2 laps down now, after he tried to get that car repaired as much as possible. So DeLeo down 2 laps down. Next is David Weishart. Weishart's been lucky because remember, he came down to pit lane after everyone did. And has been trying to make the best use out of those fresh tires to keep ahead of the 91, but they've been slowly catching back up to him. And again, I imagine he's praying and hoping to the racing gods that a caution comes out sooner rather than later, because the last thing he needs to be 2 laps down. 1 lap down is enough of a hole already.
Yeah, and this really helps the 27 of Gabriel Ellison. Although he's back at 16, David Weishart was inside the top 4 heading into tonight, the final. Well, actually, no, he was in a tiebreaker with Ricky Springer. And with how far back David has dropped since the green flag with that mishap on pit road, that's going to allow Ellison to close the gap on that cutoff by quite a bit, especially after DeLeo's mishap as well.
Yeah, not a good night for the 33. If he goes that second lap down, that is kind of nailing the coffin in on a bad night for the 33, which is not what you need at this stage of the playoffs. This is kind of, the round of 4 is 1 round. The round of 8 is our last 2-race round. You get kind of a mulligan if you can win next week, but next week we're at Richmond, and there's no guarantees at a short track. So this is a night where you can kind of control your own destiny a little bit, and the 33 has not really been in the best shape since that mishap So he's in trouble, I think, as Brad Slaughter Jr. and the 22 hit pit lanes.
Yes.
We're about 40 laps into the run right about now, so that would be about the same distance to the end of the race from here.
Yeah, an interesting thing also too is Andrew Player has also come in to service his car for what should be the final time. Must need to save some fuel. So he went a total of 57 laps on a stint to take out the caution. I think that would probably be down to like 53, 55 laps with a number 13 Andrew Player. So that's kind of what we're looking to be the upper limit of the fuel window.
You don't want to make an error on pit road either, especially this late in the going. We've already seen it happen once tonight. David Wise started. If you speed on pit road, that's going to cost you big time as well.
And looking at Brad Slaughter, it actually looks like he's retired from the race and left the servers. So maybe it's done for tonight.
But done for the 88. Mark Patterson, the only other driver out of this race. Dom DeLeo's been in pit stall for a long time. He might be in a similar scenario here. Jake Nichols has led 31 laps in this number 91. Come out of turn 4 and across the start-finish line. We're approaching 40 laps to go.
I'm really curious for you guys. Question is, if you're in these kind of situations, when do you come down to pit lane? We have 40 laps, just about 40 laps to go. And we're 40 laps into the run. Well, James Scully, at the very least, he's decided to come down.
Yeah, I think you split this kind of even right in half, guys. And this is basically this next two or three laps is if you're worried about making the maximum amount of time, you're going to pit in such a way that you're going to maximize the life of both sets of tires. So I think you're going to see a lot of drivers hit pit lane shortly.
And speaking of pit lane, Eric Weiland's back in the booth with us. Eric, got a word for us?
Yeah, so you guys saw he was at Brad Slaughter that took the early pit stop, but he actually has not come back to the racetrack. James Scioli going to be the first one to realistically make the move to pit road. Andrew Player also did pit. I documented him earlier that didn't.
Oh no!
The second
James Scioli has also left the service. Oh boy!
It's not a good night for DWR Racing then, as someone rolled by me on pit road here and returned to the racetrack. I missed who that was. Oh, Garrett Grant, who is now 2 laps down. He got some damage from Travis Beckner, a skirmish that I don't think we saw, and that I actually couldn't find, but I heard on the radio. Those two were not happy with each other, and some guys around him that were watching. But I got some updates for you guys from the leader, Jake Nichols. Here he is talking about his race car.
I'm a little free depending on how I drive it on exit, but most of the time I'm kind of snug. Feels pretty good. I'm going like 80 right now, 70%.
And here's his update on when he thinks he's going to pit.
I'm going to run it out probably about, I'm going to try to make it to 35 to go if I can, but if I can't, just somewhere in that range, 37, 36 to go, probably the number, but
he can actually go a little bit further than that. And he said before I left the channel that he thinks he can maybe reach 32 to go, but I don't know that he wants to stretch it that far. Like you guys said, split the tires evenly a little bit. Jacob Bell down pit road at me. 4 tires in fuel for the 77 car service. He's down and away and clean off of pit road. No penalties, guys.
Thanks, Eric. And yeah, I guess there's incentive to run a little bit longer so you have more tire for the end of the race for a guy that's out front leading. I'd say that's the case. I think for most everybody else, they'll be on pit lane pretty shortly here. Again, these laps will click off pretty quickly once we're towards the end of this race. The other thing to note is that the chances for yellows, we talked about this in previous weeks as well, when you get into the green flag pit stop cycle and you get through it cleanly, you're almost guaranteed to not have another caution, especially that we haven't seen these cars be that on edge when they're running by themselves. So you don't really want to count on having yellow flags to save you, and for the 33 of Weishart in particular, that is not the kind of stat that he wants to hear at this stage of the night, because he needs yellows to get himself back in contention.
Yeah, absolutely. And also one of the guys, we just saw Dominic DeLeo still down in pit lane. I think he's up there. I thought he called it a night. No, he was just sitting down there fixing up his car. He was there for 3.5 minutes in the box. So I think just wanted to fix that car up, although it cost him 7 laps. So he's definitely not going to be coming back from this. I think he's just at this point on a recovery guard. He's going to hope there's a massive wreck, but like we mentioned, odds of that happening, slim to none at this point.
Could have one wreck, but it might not be massive. But it could lead to a bigger wreck if we do get that. But man, Jake Nichols is just checked out from Kresge and Hartz.
Remember what happened though at the beginning of the run, guys? He laid back for a couple of laps And then he drove forward after that, so he saved some tire, and it's paying off in a big way this deep in the run as we see the 3 and the 14 trade positions here. Hartz to the outside. Speaking of big wrecks, earlier in this race, for those that missed it, there was a big one on the back straightaway involving the number 51 of Mark Patterson. Here's what happened earlier in the race if you missed it. 51 gets loose all on his own on the back straightaway, is back across the racetrack, and then just gets catastrophically catapulted over the back of the 09 and skids on his roof. And it was a big accident, the biggest, probably the most violent crash we've seen in a couple of weeks, but that led to the 51 being out pretty early on in this race. Cosmin Yoneshiwu hits pit lane, and the number 84 brings with him, I think that's the one of Seth Noel following. The more drivers to pit lane. Eric Wineland is down there as well.
So this is Fizikis Motorsports showing their hand, excuse me, not Fizikis, Miller Racing showing their hand with Cosmin Yoneshiwu coming down here to pit road for me. Looks like he missed his pit stall. He slid right through, guys, right in front of me. Travis Beckner behind him also coming in. So Cosmin a little longer on the stop here. Right side's down, the left side's going up now. So miscue for the 84. This is going to be a little longer stop. Not good for the green flag cycle. Meanwhile, yeah, half the top five. This is Fizikis coming. I was expecting him. I was a lap early on it. This is Fizikis Motorsports coming down pit road at me. Rafe Slate, Ricky Springer, Connor Okrezik, Alan Balancino, all coming down pit road.
Major pit stop sequence here, kicking off with just over 25 laps, well, about 25 laps to go exact, 35 laps to go. And field, most of the front runners there inside the top 10.
Oh, and a lot of guys sliding through this box. Also, Travis Beckner slipped through his box. Gabriel Ellison was just riding on board with him as he came down for his pit stop. So a lot of guys sliding through the box, cooking it a little bit too hot.
Slade is going to win the race off of pit road among Fizikis drivers. Ricky was a little conservative going through in front of me. Here comes Ryan Hartz onto pit road.
And also note Alex Weaver. I'm looking at him. He got a pet black flag too fast entering pit road for the number 4 machine.
See what that looked like for the number 4. He's actually coming down pretty slowly, but I think he just didn't get it woed up in time. Here's a look at it. Oh yeah. One of those moments where you know you hit the line and it feels like it's over. And here comes the leader, Jake Nichols onto pit lane.
Michael Curran and Ryan Hartz, guys, clean and away. Curran's gonna beat Hartz off of pit road. They're bumper to bumper as they come off. Here comes Jake Nichols down pit road, as you documented. 4 tires and fuel is the call for everybody down here on pit road. We'll watch the 91 to see if he gets clean into his stall. He's pitting just 2 stalls up from where I'm standing right now.
Here comes the leader into the box to get service for what should be the final time tonight, given a stay in green. Brandon Bowie is the race leader for now, and a handful of drivers left to cycle everything through, see where things pan out. Ryan Hartz, Ricky Springer, and Alan Balancino running nose to tail. That 70 car should be right in the mix after all this, guys.
Slow stop for Jake Nichols, guys. He was a couple tenths slower than anybody else on the stop time. I don't know if that was iRacing giving him that extra couple tenths, or if he was just a little conservative getting into the box, but he was about half a second slower than guys like Rafe Slate and Michael Curran, who are currently blasting around the racetrack toward lead.
Yeah, I think Nichols did get he did seem like he was going a little bit too slow into his box, just trying to make sure he didn't overshoot, cost himself more time. But the thing is that might have cost him the lead here is Rafe Slate getting a huge run to his outside. Curran's also charging in hard in the 24 car.
Look at this right here. This is going to be potentially for the lead. Well, actually, it is going to be for the lead.
That was
down pit road. But yeah, battle for the lead here. Near 30 to go.
Brandon Bowie, the last one to come on and off pit road in front of me, guys. Clean stop for him as well, but he was running a little bit down the order. Looks like he'll rejoin the track somewhere around 20th by the time he gets back up to speed.
All right, so things have cycled now. Slate, Curran, Nichols, Okrezik, Springer, Hartz, Balancino, Bell, Mitchell, and Yoneshiwu with your top 10. And about 31 laps to go this time through. Quick look at a race recap here for the Area Cup Series. 8 leaders, 10 lead changes. That hasn't really changed all that much since we last checked in. The first 50 laps extraordinarily competitive. Before we get too deep into this race, let's thank Rick's Hot Sauce. Fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Be sure to follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see who will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Battle for second is on right now as Curhan and Nichols race down the 8 of Rafe Slate.
Yeah, and actually one thing I want to mention too, one team who's not doing too hot is David Weishart Racing, as Eric mentioned before with James Connolly retiring. David Weishart's also just come down pit lane and he has retired the car, and that's actually 3 retirements as Bryce Senizak in the 09, he also retired earlier, being involved in that first caution. The only car left for DWR is Chris Seidenfeiden all the way back in 23.
Beckner's having an off day down in 20th. Mentioned Weishart retired just now. Don DeLeo still trying to get back on the lead lap. Gabriel Ellison over there in the 13th spot. This is going to be a big day for him if he can just make it home to the finish. And if he can get inside the top 10 somehow, this could really propel him inside the top 4 or close to that cutoff mark.
This is the kind of thing that you need. Sometimes you don't always need to be good. You can be lucky. And I think tonight Gabriel Ellison has had a lot of luck go his way. 13th place isn't a phenomenal run, but it's an adequate run to gain a bunch of points on the 28, the 33, and the 22 Finian. This could save his round of 8, especially if he can repeat something, maybe get a little luck next week too, or even win the race. That would solidify him without having to worry about it.
Yeah, he showed some decent pace at Vegas last week, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely not out of the question. Still also quite a bit of racing left to go, so can improve that 13th place. Potentially break the top 10, get even more of a points haul coming off of tonight. But we got Eric Wineland back with us from pit lane. Eric, any updates?
Zekas Motorsports ready for you guys. Rafe Slate, Connor O'Kresick talking strategy to the end of the race.
Got him, boys. Bamboozled.
His tires are getting hot.
Oh, they don't need to work.
Just save. Keep the rears on, you know what happened last run. Got another full run.
So Connor running fourth, still being a good cheerleader for his teammate who's in the lead, Rafe Slate. Rafe pretty happy that he was able to get the lead through the pit cycle, but they are very wary of that 91 car in third. I think he is saving his stuff for a later run as we approach 27 laps to go at the line, guys.
Thanks, Eric. And it's interesting to note that they specifically called out to be extra careful with those rear tires and save. Finney and I find that it's pretty hard to just switch off the thing in your brain that tells you to go. It's hard to change your behavior mid-race. So I'm curious to see how much they can adjust their driving style to save tire, because for a lot of drivers, it's just the way that they are. And if you beat up your tires one run, it's unlikely that even trying, you're going to do much better on the second one.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough thing to manage, and the good drivers are really good at just being able to adjust that, run a little bit less hard, but keep the pace going. You get that little bit of reduction in pace, but you save a lot of tire. But as you mentioned, for some people, it's not that easy to do. You end up losing quite a bit of pace, and especially considering he's in the lead, you can't quite afford to give that up, especially with the 24 knocking on the door and hard. Curran, for him, a win would be huge, locking himself into the final 4, and he absolutely would love to have that, especially with the 91 beating on his bumper and out to his door as he dives to the inside.
On board with O'Kresick as he's watching the battle go on between Curran and Nichols, 2 playoff drivers inside the top 4. Now Nichols is like he's going to get tucked back in line before they go into turn 3 before diving down low, trying to get a big enough run to get underneath the 24 and side draft him down the straightaway.
Remember where O'Kresick started? Second to last, and here he is battling inside the top 5 here. Not a playoff competitor and really rooting on his teammate, who is also not a playoff competitor, but they're up here mixing it up with drivers that have something to lose, and that would be the championship. Again, Nichols is in a pretty good position as far as the playoffs go, but Curhan could really use a solid finish and really could use a victory tonight, so he's going to fight this as hard as he can.
Yeah, if I'm the 24 of Curran, you're 7 points out. I mean, obviously he's going to make up a huge amount of points on DeLeo and Weishart. He's definitely going to pass them. No question in my mind about that. And you could probably also throw Travis Beckner in the mix, who's not doing too hot as well. Really, for the 24, it's a matter of good points day or win. Yeah, what are you going to do? Because he's in second place. A lot of his other competitors are doing bad. He should probably end up in the top 4 on points alone. But do you try to force yourself to go a little bit harder, potentially wrecking and trying to get that win?
I would, if I were him, I would do that. I'd put everything on the line for it. Especially when I'm racing against that 91 of Jake Nichols. Just think about We're on race 15 of the Cup season, and that 91 car has got 8 wins. I would not mind throwing it all, trying to get around him for the win. As talked to a previous winner here at this racetrack, Eric Weiland, down on pit road with an update.
Still love that season 1 win, by the way. Go back and check that on the Area iRacing YouTube channel after this race if you're looking for something to watch. Radio from Solar Flare Racing, guys. Jake Nichols calling a shot.
I'm gonna wait behind these two. It's 27 to go, probably 5 more laps, 10 more laps, and I'm just gonna go try to gap them. I'll probably still save probably 10% of tire, 10% of tire, 10% each lap, but
I'm gonna save 0.3% of tire.
I got the tire advantage, you know, so I can use it.
I got the skill advantage. I'm way better.
Yeah, 10-4, bud.
So his brother TK having a little bit of fun with him. I think it was on the shorter end of that, guys. Probably about only 5 laps since I got that radio for Jake Nichols to go back to the lead. Now the pressure's on for Michael Curran, Rafe Slate, Connor Kresick. Can they work together to get back by the 91? Or do they have enough time with 22 to go?
And keep an eye on Ricky Springer, Ryan Hartz, and Vallecino. They don't quite have the tire of Jake Nichols, but they are running down this group of 3, second, third, and fourth. Curran, Slate, and O'Kresick, Vinny. And so maybe Springer might not be a win tonight for that number 18, but remember, he's still battling in the points and can still use some. So he's going to go up there and try to grab at least Slate and O'Kresick, if not Curran and Nichols.
Yeah, he's right on the bubble. He's actually tied with David Weiser in 4th place in the points coming into
Caution.
tonight. Oh, never mind. As Jonas Shimo is around on the back straightaway. Well, we said the chance of a caution would be fairly slim to none.
Oh,
but
boy.
Just enough right there.
This changes everything with 22 laps to go, Hunter. This totally throws everything we thought was going to happen out the window.
All it takes is one, and Yoneshimu was the one to bring out only the third caution of the race so far. Take a look at a replay here, see what happened. Just loose, goes up.
Oh,
and
no, I think he had some help.
Boy.
He had help.
He had help, all right. Eric Weiland on pit lane. What you got on that for us? That one looks spicy.
I was in the wrong channel for that one, guys. I was listening to JBR. Here's Jacob Bell.
Wrecking on the back, middle of the back. It's not going to be, it is Cosman spun. Godspun.
He then said got spun. But what was not captured on that audio shortly after I stopped recording and started cutting it, and I just missed out on it, Ryan Hartz was absolutely gassed. Not happy with that one. A big sigh out of the 3 radio when he saw that yellow come out. Everybody is going to come down to pit road at me here, guys. This will be the 3rd stop of the race for most. And remember, we have 5 sets of tires to start the race with, 4 sitting in the pits. So this is going to be taking the second to last set these guys have as they come down pit road at me right now. We're going to expect to see 4 tires, and I would think they want fuel for the extra downforce, get the diffuser closer to the ground, despite the bumps there on the backstretch. But this is going to be interesting to see who wins this race off. I would not be surprised to see Fazekas try to pull something over Jake Nichols here.
Ooh, Curran missed his box, had to back up like twice. Thing lost about 5 seconds doing so he's going to lose a huge amount of track position. A big mistake for the 24 when he really, really did not need it.
Tires for everybody, looks like. Here comes the 91. He's going to win the race off pit road, but just over O'Kresick, Slate, Hartz, Springer, Vallecino, Curhan, Rabel, Ellison, and Bowie. The rest of your top 10. I still think that this 18 car, now that he's on equal footing, let's keep an eye on Ricky Springer. He's been up front tonight. He's been in the mix. He's led a couple of laps. I think he's got a good shot. Ryan Hartz, he's led 1 lap, but also he's so desperate for a win.
Yeah, I think if we get a short run, I think definitely look at the 14, the 18, the 70, and even the 24 if he can get back up there. All of them look pretty quick on the short run. Obviously, Jake Nichols, we've seen he's one to take it easy, more or less on the starts. Doesn't really flex his muscle, show a whole lot, but I mean, effectively, we got a sprint race on our hands, guys, with under 20 laps to go.
We'll have to see what he does here because we know how he can drive it on the long run, but the short run, that's going to be something different in itself. And not to mention, he's got O'Kresick and Rafe Slate going to restart behind him, so a little bit of team orders they're going to work out there, at least for Fazekas, because Jake Nichols is all up here on his own.
Be spicy, I'll tell you that. Before we get back to the restart here, next lap, I love these quick cautions here at Fontana. Fans, be sure to check out areiiracing.shop for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Shop from our selection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. Use code SWAN for 10% off your order. at checkout. All right, guys. Anyone want to revise their picks at this stage?
I forgot what you picked. Oh, I think you picked the 24.
Pick the 24.
Memory can't be that short.
No, you'll be surprised.
I can tell you exactly what you two picked because I picked both of the drivers you picked. I said Jake Nichols is going to go out here and win this race, but watch Michael Curran get himself above the cut line. What's he doing right now, guys? He's got himself above the cut line.
I picked the 3. I still like him. Hasn't been as aggressive on the restarts as the others, but I think he's in pretty good spot here and had to have a shot at it towards the end. Another look at the race recap. We've had 3 cautions for a total of 9 laps in this 87 laps that we've completed. We're going to have 19 laps to go, make it 18 at the restart. And I predict we are not done having cautions at this stage because of that most recent one. We would have gone green to the end without that one, but I think from here on out it's going to be chaos. 5 wide, 6 wide, 7 wide. How many cars can you fit here wide? I think they made it plenty wide enough,
we'll find out.
We're going to get to that limit, I'm sure.
Bold prediction on the cautions not being over yet.
All right. Pace car pulls off. Jake Nichols in command, looking for his 9th win on the season. Green flag back in the air from Fontana and the Area Cup Series playoffs.
Chris Rabel almost wrecking off of turn 2 into the side of Alan Balancino. Saves it. Check up in behind them, though.
Jake Nichols driving away after that restart, but you can see just how...
Oh, look out, guys. The 17 sideways in the middle of 3 and 4. He's gathered it up, but everybody splits the difference around the outside.
And he lost a lot of positions there. That's not going to work out for him at all. But Jake Nichols trying to drive away from this pack.
And the 17 of Sturgill, he had some help and buoying the 23. He cut across his nose and forced the 17 to spin.
Springer right up against the outside wall in 1 and 2.
I'm not quite sure that's really the lane to go, at least this early on in the run. I think once the tires start to wear out, then you start moving up
trouble
the track
behind him. That's going to be a big crash into 3.
That's below the apron, too, so that's not going to be a caution.
Somehow we avoided it. The 37, though, did not. Gets hooked off the nose of the 41 and went for a ride and likely a big hit there.
He's in the grass now. He's just trying to bring that thing to pit road. And, boy, look at him fan out. That Springer's still trying to rip the top, try to get whatever grip he can on this early run. Hart's going to come up and block, but a massive run here from the 18.
Yeah, I like that outside groove. I know, Finney, I think you're right about it taking a couple laps to come in, but it's coming in now. The 18 to the bottom of the 3 into turn 3 and to second place if he can get by Okrezik, but he's on the bottom. That's tough to hold down there.
So 14 slipping a little bit mid-corner. Here comes 18 back on him. Could try to get a side draft here or a draft from the 91 who's come down in front of him on the front straightaway here. The lap's ticking down, 15 to go at the line.
Okrezik with a massive push from the 3 of Hearts heading into turn 1. Got Eric Weiland down on pit road with an update.
Hey, so 2 pieces of radio for you here. This is, just listen to Alan Balancino. This is him coming off turn 2. You guys documented this on this restart.
Oh my god, I've not on 3.
Can you put figure it? I got a horrible run. I don't think you're gonna I didn't.
So all that fumbling noise was Alan whipping his wheel back and forth as he was trying to hang on while 3 wide with the 29 of Chris Rabel. Meanwhile, here's Tyler Nichols' take on what just happened on the back straightaway.
So I told you I was worried about him. He looked like he was going to stay low off 2, so I'm going top, and he turns right. I push him. I mean, you can't hold it, bro. Don't fucking block it.
So unfortunately, that 7-letter word still slips in there. TK is the most notorious of that in solo flare racing, but he was not happy whatsoever, as you could tell. The driver of the 37, Jeff Ryan. Jeff Ryan came out on the worst end of it. Looks like his night's probably going to end up over.
Jake Nichols leading the train into turn 3. Balancino to the bottom underneath Rabel, guys. I don't think we're done yet. We saw how late in the run, on all things equal, drivers can slipstream and draft past each other. So given a long run, I think saving tire would do you some good here. But with, what, it was 18 laps to the end, I think everyone's given it all they got. And I still don't think Jake Nichols is safe, even though he's leading and has been the most laps led driver today.
almost a stack up heading into turn 1 between the 23, the 29, and the 27 on the outside lane. Huge step. Oh no! There goes Bowie and Ballacino spinning to the inside. The number 70. He's going to barely save it off the wall. No, he's going to spin back on the track. Here comes a caution. No control. Alt delete, I think, for the number 70.
He's out. All that Ford did not want to bring out a caution, create a big crash on the backstretch. We've already seen one today. So Ballacino's called it quits after that mishap. Back up front, though, Jake Nichols holding on. 12 to go now, heading into turn 1. They are still not done getting dicey back there.
Yeah, you know, that's the Alt F4. I bet there's a lot of drivers in real life that wish they could do that before they hit something, because that is a handy tool in the late going stages of this one.
I mean, it's a handy tool until the realized fact that he's going to drop way down the order.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Ballacino's not racing for points, so it's not going to matter to him either way. One thing I was going to say before that happened was the 27, a good battle to look at, the 24 and the 27. Curran and Ellison racing from 7th and 8th in points. They're both trying to get a good points haul, as well as Ryan Hart's here. He can try to get around Jake Nichols.
Look at the bump draft we got going on here at Auto Club. They're going fast enough to where they can do that. You got to back off before going in the corner. That's Ellison and Rabel. Ellison, the highest on the racetrack of those inside the top 7. Gonna see if he can get a massive run here off the corner. Boy, it is tight up there on that top.
Yeah, 195 off into turn 1. That's almost Gen 6 speeds off into there.
Yeah.
They're hauling Finian into turn 1.
Hauling the mail, I mean, everyone said these Gen 7 next-gen cars are a lot slower in the straight line, carry a lot more speed in the corners, but like you said, that's a huge amount of speed. And then 195 into turn 1. I mean, the Gen 6 was doing about 200, 205 into turn 1, depending on the package, as we continue to ride on board with these guys. Still, the battles have not died down. Ryan Hart's now looking to the outside of the 91, see if he can get anything here as we're under 10 laps to go. Eric Wineland back in with us with the word. Eric, any final updates?
All right, so I'm just saying screw it. The swear jar is overflowing with dollars that these drivers are putting in. I'm not even worried about this bleep. Here's Brandon Bowie in the 23 car.
And everybody's just so fucking aggressive right now, man.
Yeah, well, there's only 11 to go.
Yeah, I get that explained.
So that's what's in the mind of the 23 and his spotter, Brian Chambliss, who didn't make the race tonight, but still made it out to help try to cheer his team on and spot Brandon Bowie toward what he hoped would be a win. But nonetheless, sitting 8th place right in the middle of this pack, guys. He's looking for a place to go, but everybody's just so darn aggressive. He hasn't found a lane yet.
He almost triggered an accident out of turn 4. That's going to get tight. The 8 and the 29. That was almost a crash there.
Yeah, everyone trying to side draft very aggressively, especially this late on. It can definitely lead to a wreck. We're already seeing 1 or 2 drivers turn from side drafting gone wrong. As Ellison is hauling the mail around the outside of turn 4, trying to make him spots. Oh, wrecking on the front straightaway potentially. Is that Dakota Ballard? Delonte Ballard, sorry.
Delonte Ballard, he gathers it up. Great work there. Jake Nichols is loving watching this scrap in the mirror because he's trying to drive away from Connor O'Kresick. 27 car is way sideways out of turn 2.
Rafe Slade and Ryan Hart's almost made contact there in turn 2. Hart's is on the move back. He's dropped all the way down to 4th. Could have been a lot worse there. They are not done leaning on each other. Meanwhile, O'Kresick's driven up towards Jake Nichols, not close enough to make a move yet for the lead, but he's driving away from this pack back here.
If there was this is the best advertisement for iRacing's netcode. There could not have been an inch between the 8 and the other drivers on the back straightaway. Look at the 29 and 84.
No, the other
Shibu spun out.
Yeah, I was going to say, he almost got wrecked on that front straightaway incident with Delonte Ballard as well, so he narrowly avoided getting spun again as he's actually himself loose, going to slide in front of Rabel, almost wrecking on the back straightaway. These guys are not done yet. It is getting hard fought and potentially, I'll honestly be surprised if we don't see another car wrecking with how aggressive these guys are fighting at the moment.
Speaking of fighting, there's no fighting on pit road yet, but Eric Wineland's still down there in case there's one that breaks out. What you got for us?
No, but we might have some shouting after the race. 27, Gabriel Ellison and Lucky Duck Motorsports talking here.
This thing back up here. Dude, I'm driving my...
Yeah, he said running up top here, he is absolutely
Four wide, Derek. Here they go. The 23 and the 84. See ya, Cosman. He's out. Back straight away.
Still below the apron. That's not going to be a caution.
Well, I was right. I said someone was going to go spinning.
Ricky Springer and Ryan Hartz, third and fourth. Big slide for the 18. He chases it up the hill. 5 laps to go from Fontana.
This is the calmest they've been since the restart.
Look
at Hartz. He jumped up to third.
Yeah, Hartz has been going up and down in these later laps. He's been up into second, down as low as 7th, and then now back to 3rd, trying to fight now with Ricky. Sorry, not past Ricky Springer. Trying to see if he can catch up to the 14 of Okrezik to see if he can fight with Nichols as well for the lead. I'm curious to see if Okrezik can do anything. Haven't talked a whole lot of the 14 tonight.
Tight there in the middle of 3 and 4. Okrezik really doesn't have enough momentum from behind to propel himself forward. But if Ryan Hartz can get up there, this could change the dynamic of the finish here at Auto Club. 4 laps to go. Can Jake Nichols hold on to pick up his 9th win on the season?
I think the biggest advantage Jake Nichols has is that Okrezik knows that Nichols is a playoff competitor. Okrezik is not. I think he'll probably use some reservation when it comes to the moves he's going to pull here. But who knows? 34th to 2nd. That's a long way to drive up just to finish 2nd, Finney. We'll see how he does.
I mean, there's also the fact that I'm sure everyone knows that Nichols has a massive point lead. So, you know, somebody argue you can maybe lose a couple points here and there. So,
donate him to charity.
Yeah, basically. You know, like you mentioned, Okrezik, he's come such a long way to fight with the 91. He's got the win on the line here. How much is he really willing to risk? We know Hartz is going to try to be more on the clean side of things. I'm sure with the 14, this is supposed to be seen him 2 coming to victory lane since he's been racing in the series. I'm sure he's not going to give this up without a hard-fought fight here in these last closing laps.
Look at this run. He's going to have a big run on it. Here he comes, Hunter. Go ahead.
Coming out of 2. Going to get up to the bumper. Doesn't want to make a move just yet. Gonna give him a little nudge going in the corner.
Ryan Hartz is here too.
And so is Eric Wineland.
Ryan Hartz radio, guys.
I think I might have a chance. I don't know though. Might not be enough laps.
I think he's got enough laps. It's been closing in bit by bit each lap. It was 3/10 a lap ago, 2/10 now.
Ooh, Okrezik to the outside.
What Ryan Hartz needs is for these two to get side by side. Okrezik is going to do it here on the back straightaway. They're going to touch out of turn 2.
Oh, Nichols sideways out of turn 2, leaving smoke coming out of turn 2. That's a lot of Hartz to get a big run to the inside of the 14.
Hartz needs to clear him here into turn 3, though. He can't stay side by side with the 14, and he knows it.
Oh, that's not going to work out. 14's going to have to get a run off the corner here, and 3's going to get tucked in right here. They're coming up on the white flag.
1 lap to go from Fontana. Jake Nichols searching for his 9th victory. The other 2 behind him searching for their 1st this season. Okrezik right to the tailpipes of the 91. This is his shot. He's going to go into turn 1 right on the bumper of the 91, but he can't get there.
He's going to have to try to upset the 91 either in turn 2 here or potentially going into turn 3. He's got to get a great run out of the corner. He can't quite get there, though.
Down the backstretch for the final time. This is the perfect time to get a Louisiana dive bomb if you're the 14 of Okrezik. Expect him to jump down to the inside. Here he goes. Going for the win. Okrezik down low on Jake Nichols.
He's going to turn him.
He's going to turn him. He turns the 91 sideways. They're all in the wall. And coming off of turn 4. The checkered flag's waving. They're 3 wide coming to the line. Michael Curran on the bottom, Slade in the middle, and it's going to be Michael Curran getting the win. Are you kidding me? Auto Club. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable finish we just saw. Michael Curran went from 7 points out to locking his chance at the championship.
What just happened?
What did we just see?
What just happened?
Curran was P6 entering turn 3, and he won the race.
Unreal.
What just happened?
From 7 points out to securing a spot in the championship 4 at Nashville. You saw that move there from Okrezik. He had no wins. He's not racing for a playoffs. He's not racing for a championship. He's racing for a win. He was going for the win. And unfortunate that Ryan Hartz got caught up in this, but man, oh man, we're going to have some butt-hurt drivers here at the end of this one.
Michael Curran led 1 lap in this race. I don't even think he led a lap. He led about half a corner.
Man, I can't. I think that's probably got to be one of the best finishes we've seen in SimTV history right there.
That's
the top 3 racking out a turn 4 and then a 3-way drag race to the line. I don't think you can orchestrate anything better than that. And hey, guess who my pick was? The number 24.
Wow, that was.
And you got to go back to a couple laps ago, heading into turn 1. Or coming out, it was either in turn 1 or turn 2. Michael Curran got blocked, or not Curran, excuse me. Okrezik got blocked by Jake Nichols, so he remembered that, and he was going to repay the favor, but I didn't think he meant to repay it in that way. But take a look at Curran's perspective on this last lap.
Hey guys, here's Fazekas through this last lap. Just listen in.
Fuck, I turned him. Ah, shit. Oh, fuck.
Please, please, please.
Oh, my God. Oh my, all 3, side by side.
And that's it.
Wow. Are you kidding?
Did you get that, Michael?
What? Michael got it.
Wow, nice job, man.
Woo!
And in the background there, if you could hear it, that was in-race radio. Jake Nichols, very disappointed with what happened with him and Connor Okrezik.
Yeah, you have to feel for Jake Nichols. You know, he led most laps of this race and was dominating, but, you know, you have to also consider that other drivers might view his advantages in the points and with the wins as expendable for their own good. And you see the 14 and then the 3, his opportunity dwindled there as he gets caught up in it. But that was just, you know, the 14 got in there, and that was the only way it was going to happen. But it just happened a little bit wrong. The 3, he saw the checkers and just couldn't get turned down enough as the 91 went sailing off into the wall, and the other drivers went to the checkers behind him. That was an unbelievable result. I think there's going to be a lot of drivers that wish it didn't happen like that, and a couple
and
that
guys,
wish it did.
And think about how this is going to mess up the playoff picture going into next week as well. Ryan Hartz is only 3 points from the cut line, and he finished back in 16th. Michael Curran finished with taking the win, locking that in. Gabriel Ellison finishing in 7th. Ricky Springer finishing in 2nd. Oh boy.
Yeah, huge points day for Gabriel Ellison in the 27. Coming home with the top 10. Weishart, DeLeo had issues. Ryan Hartz, Jake Nichols, not really going to hurt too much for Jake Nichols. He had a over 50-point gap heading into tonight, but nonetheless, still good finish there for the 27, Gabriel Ellison. His shot at a championship still alive next week in Richmond.
Wow, that was a wild one. Locking yourself into the championship 4 as other drivers skid and slide around you. Travis Beckner rebounded for an 11th after having a pretty amazing day. Ryan Hart's P16 and Jake Nichols P19. Jake Nichols races people pretty clean, Finian, so despite him having that enormous advantage, you still have to feel for Nichols coming home 19th after being the dominant force today.
Absolutely. I mean, as much as people probably don't want to see him get that 9th win, I mean, he races everyone cleanly and treats them with respect, and he kind of expects the same back, and that's why he's so frustrated with the 14. He knew that Hartz wouldn't do the same thing, and we were talking about the 14, had nothing to lose, really. Arguably, other than his fellow drivers' respect, which you could argue he's definitely probably lost at this point, especially with the 3 and the 91.
Well, in just a moment, we're going to talk to some of the drivers that were involved in this amazing 3-wide finish. Let's first talk to our 3rd place finisher. That was driver number 8, Rafe Slate, brings it home P3. 45 thousandths behind Michael Curran, who eventually won the race, Rafe, but wild finish. I was speechless. I'm glad that Hunter Sleppy picked up the tail end of the commentary there, because I didn't know what to say. What did you see out your windshield coming to the checkers?
Man, I could taste it. I saw it. I had to get out of the gas, and Ricky and Michael just kind of parted me, split me, had the momentum, and I didn't. I'm watching the replay right now. You can kind of see when Connor and Nichols and Hartz all got together. I had to lift more than they did, and they just got me right at the line. So a little disappointing. I had it. I feel like I had the fastest car the last 5 laps, battling back on 4th, 5th. Just somehow was able to save my stuff. But man, I can't believe I was sitting backwards lap 10 or so, and then now we were almost winning a freaking race.
Well, I'll say it worked out for you in that number 8 again. No championship on the horizon for you, so the next couple of weeks you're just trying to claim victories. Well, we've got Richmond next week. How do you feel about the short track there in Richmond, Virginia?
I love short tracks. I feel like I was blown away. I kind of hate that I hate this track, and I hate that I ran well here tonight because now I'm gonna think it's fun. But this is my least favorite track. So if I can run well here, then Richmond should be a blast. But yeah, next season will be great. Me and Ricky and Connor are all teamed up, and we've got another fourth driver lined up that will be a big surprise for some people. But yeah, no, we're set up for next year. Got my eyes forward. Gonna finish off the year with Fazekas, and we're gonna push on.
Thanks, Rafe. Nice job. Third place tonight. Just losing it in the final yards coming to the stripe, but P3 for the 8 tonight.
Yep. Yeah. Let me thank Team Car Wash real quick. Team Car Wash, Dom DeLeo, Fazekas, all the guys that made it happen tonight.
All right, Rafe. We'll see you next week at Richmond. Best of luck.
All right. Thank you.
And moving on now to our second place finisher, Ricky Springer. The 18 is getting hot at the right time. 3 wins on the season. Almost got another one tonight, 38 thousandths of a second shy. 4 drivers got cleared out ahead of you, Ricky, coming out of turn number 4. Then it was a drag race to the stripe with you, Rafe Slade, and Michael Curran. You're in a great spot in the points now after tonight, but take us through your race. You were up front battling all night long. Are you happy with second, or wish you could have been a little bit better?
I think that all of us as a group could have collectively, I guess, worked a little bit better together there towards the end. But, it is what it is. I mean, you can never be elated about a second place. I mean, I'm pleased with it. It puts us in a good spot for Richmond next week. But it was really just a tire-saving game, just kind of running it at a slower pace, trying to save what you had until the last part of a run. And that last 20-lap run there was just kind of a dash for cash. It was, run it for what you got. And, if you didn't have any tires left, you didn't. If you did, good for you. So.
Well, Ricky, you're in a great spot, second in the standings, 37 back from Nichols, but you're looking pretty good for Richmond. How do you feel about that place? And then do you think you can go off to Nashville and win this whole thing? Championship 4 is looking pretty likely with a clean run next week.
Yeah, this Ghost Energy Toyota Camry has been great through the playoffs, and I mean, I don't see why I couldn't put myself in a spot to win at Nashville, but we got to focus one race at a time, and next race is Richmond, and I still have to have a good run there to put myself in a spot to take home a championship. So 1 week at a time, and we'll head to Richmond, we'll get some practice in, and we'll see how that week goes, and then I think I might have a clearer answer on Nashville.
All right, Ricky. Hey, congratulations, second place tonight. We'll see you next week at Richmond.
Yep, thank you.
Last but not least, Michael Curran in the number 24 Chevrolet comes out of turn 4, 6th, comes to the stripe first by 38 thousandths of a second. You came in on and below the cut line. You come out locked into the championship 4. I mean, are you as bewildered as we? I mean, we came out of turn 4 hollering and screaming and hooting, and here you are, victory lane, locked in with a shot at a championship. You can go to Richmond without having to worry about anything. What are you feeling right now, Michael?
Man, I was hooting and hollering with you then, because that was such a wide range of emotions there. I just, going into that last pit stop sequence, I slid through the box, so I just thought I threw away the race right there. Got kind of stuck in traffic, and oh my gosh, I couldn't believe what was happening up front. Coming out of turn 4, the seas parted. I don't know. I just put the pedal to the metal and just hoped that I had enough momentum to get around Rafe and Ricky there, and just eked him out at the line. That is the craziest thing I think I've ever been a part of, and I can't believe it. But such a huge sigh of relief. I mean, to be below the cut line coming in and worrying about Richmond, which I'm not too confident in, a short track where really anything can go on there. So to be locked in, man, I am pumped. I'm still excited.
Well, you're locked in, and so now the focus shifts from Richmond off to Nashville. How do you feel about that place, and do you think you could steal a championship away from a guy that's won 8 races? He got crashed out. He's still looking pretty good to make it to the championship 4, but you're going to be battling against him.
Yeah, I'm going to give it my best effort and lots of practice and give it my best shot. It's all I can do, kind of look past Richmond a little bit. But obviously main focus will be on Nashville, so I'll give them my best shot and see what happens. You never know like this, just fight to the very end. I had to do it in Vegas where I kind of got caught up in that wreck and made it to this round of the playoffs, just barely. So just never say die. Go until the end, until the checkered flag waves, and see what happens.
Hey, Michael, you know how many laps you led this race?
Probably 100 feet.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I was going to say 1 lap, but really it was just a couple hundred feet. Hey, Michael, congratulations. Awesome win. Right place, right time for you, buddy. Happy for you. We'll see you next week at Richmond, and you'll be sleeping very, very well compared to the rest of the playoff drivers.
Yeah, thank you, boys. Hopefully we put on a good show for you guys. And as always, you guys always, bring it to life. Do such a great job here in the booth. Appreciate it.
Well, that you did. Thanks so much, Michael. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Whew. All right, guys. You guys all calm down yet? You guys want to go back through and look at the highlights of this race? That was a wild race. Let's go back. First thing we saw, that was the big crash on lap number 6. That was Mark Patterson. This happened out of turn number 2, guys. The 51 upside down.
Yeah, that's really what kind of set the mood for the night, really, with a lot of guys involved in this wreck. Not a whole lot of playoff drivers, really. 51 goes up and over onto his roof.
Yeah, and then we had another issue, this time on the back straightaway, and this was a guy that ended up 3rd tonight. I don't know if it was this lap or the next, but got turned around and went around for a loop, ended up rebounding to P3. Then later in the race, coming back to the checkers, it was all about that run to the start-finish line. 38 thousandths of a second was the win margin. Finian, final thoughts on Auto Club Speedway tonight?
Yeah, I mean, what a heck of a show. I mean, again, I don't think you could really ask for a better finish than that. With, again, the top 3 taking themselves out and then a 3-way dash to the line. Really fantastic job from Michael Curran. A great job from Ricky Springer and Gabriel Ellison. And we do have the points updated going into next week. So Curran obviously locked in. Nichols, a huge points lead for him. Then it's Springer, Travis Beckner currently in the top 4. Then Ryan Hartz, Gabriel Ellison, Dominic DeLeo, and David Weiss are a huge ways out in the points.
After all that, Jake Nichols still has over a 40-point cushion heading into next week's race at Richmond, but Ryan Hart's 5 points out looking in, and then it's only bigger there for Gabriel Ellison, Dom DeLeo. David Weiss are all the way down at the bottom, so he's going to be in the must-win. DeLeo's going to have to somehow find a way to get a good finish, but nonetheless, what a race, what a finish from start to finish. I don't know why they're making this a short track, but congrats to Michael Curran on an unbelievable finish. Again, 7 points out heading into tonight, and he just locked himself a spot. Chase for a championship in Nashville, just like that.
Eric Wineland was on pit lane all night bringing us the strategy. Eric, pretty wild race at the end of this one, but next week we head to Richmond, and there are 4 drivers below the cut line that are going to be real desperate. That's Hartz, Ellison, DeLeo, and Weishart. Final thoughts on Auto Club before we head to Virginia on the other coast next week.
Yeah, that points battle, Kyle, is going to be wild. Look, Jake Nichols is 48 ahead of the cut, and the max you can gain in a race is 49. If he starts next week, he's in on points. So it's pretty much coming down to Ricky Springer, Travis Beckner, and then the 4 you said that are below the cut, Ryan Hartz, Gabriel Ellison, Dominic DeLeo, David Weishart, for that final 2 spots to join Michael Curran and Jake Nichols in Nashville. But man, if for some reason any official that has a say in this actually watches our SimTV broadcast here, please do not tear this racetrack down. It's the most beautiful 2-mile racetrack in the country, and I absolutely love racing on it virtually, and I love watching the races on it in real life as well. Man, Richmond, short track, 3/4 mile, Kyle, it's going to be a fun one. It's a playground for some, including one Delonte Ballard, who says he was the king of Richmond back in the day as I talked to him, and man, I'm excited to see what Solar Flare Racing can pull out, because Jake Nichols has nothing to worry about and just a lot of redemption on his mind from tonight.
Well, I don't know who's the king, but I know we're going to put the crown on somebody at Nashville. And next week is Elimination Week. We're going to chop off the bottom 4 of the playoffs. Tomorrow night, though, we're going to do the same that we did tonight. We're going to set ourselves up for that Richmond battle. That is going to be the area truck series tomorrow night. And then, of course, the Launch Box series on Thursday. That's what's coming up here on SimTV this week. Of course, the DC Region SCCA Virtual Racing League, they take on Virginia International Raceway Road Course in Virginia. That'll happen on Wednesday night. We'll see you there tomorrow night at 8:40 Eastern for the round 15 of the Area Truck Series. Kyle Heyer, Hunter Sleppy, Eric Wineland, and Finian D'Acuna bringing you the action. We'll see you tomorrow.